right. Well, don't really have any way we're starting this. We're just going to be talking about a bunch of Smite 2 stuff. Nika's got a lot of questions. I've got a few that we can all talk about.
I guess I'll put it in our DM group.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. It looks so bad when it's not formatted. Holy shit.
Wait, does it?
I'm just gonna copy paste on in my own notepad.
Yeah, I have it in a notepad.
This one's.
This should be dark mode notepad. How do you get that?
Wait, it is dark mode. I got it right now.
Oh, what the fuck?
I don't. I have bright
Damn,
mode.
You guys are getting fucking cooked.
Yeah, what the heck?
Okay. All right.
But it doesn't even fit on the notepad.
All right, I'm good whenever. I got yours. Did you add more, Nika, or no?
Yeah, like.
I'm gonna just toss these. I'm gonna toss these in here too, quick. Those are some of the ones that I've had too.
At some point, it's like my chat's questions.
All right. So just starting out, I guess we can just talk about what we've seen from Smite 2 already, because I think that's just a good point to start with. So far, what do you guys think about Smite 2? Are you impressed with it? Is it whatever? Excited?
I'd say I'm excited, but slightly underwhelmed. I guess because of the expectations going into it.
Yeah.
But, I think there's a lot of good things that we've seen and a lot of potential. It's just whether they can nail it on time.
Yeah, even just from playing Smite 1, there's like things I wish I could do that I feel like I can't do because it's Smite 1. Like I was literally playing a horse game today, and I was like, bro, if this is Unreal Engine 5, I could like 3 a teammate, and in the middle of 3ing the teammate, like use my 2 and like cancel my 3 to use my 2. And it's Smite 1 that would just crash the entire game if it would ever even work. And it's just like things like that, and like just improving fluidity of gods that make me super excited. But so far from Smite 2, like Susano, a specific character that did not carry over the fluidity of Smite 1 Susano. He just felt so slow and awkward, and he felt like his abilities felt like they did nothing, and visually and sounded like they did nothing also, and then they also just did nothing. So it's like overall he was just like a really underwhelming character that I thought was going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, Sana was extremely disappointing. I think that's probably the most disappointing thing of Smite 2 for me is like Susano, because I'm a big Susano fan. And Susano in Smite 1 is like perfect. And they did say that they were not going to change him that much, right? They're like, we want to keep him relatively similar. New passive.
Wait, they said that?
That's it. Yeah, they said that. Yeah, they said because he's like a muscle memory god, right? And so they want to keep Susano relatively like as close to Smite 1 as possible. But I feel like he was completely different. He did not feel good at all. And that was really disappointing. And
yeah, I'm also surprised how much they just nerfed him before we got to like try him on Smite 2. Like they absolutely gutted his ultimate. You know, went from feeling like something that could change a fight to like Tiamat Tornado, pretty much.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely.
So Smite 2, obviously for all of us, I think it was a little underwhelming. I think something that I was told recently that kind of gave me a little bit more hope was that that iteration that we played, the last one, was still like a month behind what they are currently on.
Oh yeah, for
which
sure.
makes it.
I think that's just really hard for the public to process, right? Because like you give your opinion on what's in front of you, which I think is something that I think a lot of copers are like forgetting. That like people just judge whatever's in front of them, but like the doomers as well are like a little bit extreme for sure. You gotta find the middle ground.
It's both groups. The game is in such a potential spot right now, or it's like potential shit. It's like it's neither one or the other because it's so early, and I think both sides are just insane for already deciding how the game is going to be.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's been a roller coaster with people's opinions. Like
it has.
One week it's over, 1 week we're back. Like literally the stew curve. It's so it's the true. It's truer than ever. I think.
Yeah, 100%. I think like with me, like when we played like the whole like friends and family test, like back then, and let's say February 1st to like end of February, the game was in a really rough state, and it's obvious, right? I don't think anyone was like dooming then.
Yeah.
Because it's so early. But for me, one disappointment is that I feel like it has not improved like drastically in terms of like, you know, gameplay feel and like the art and like just like most general things. It's not improved as much as I thought it would from February to now. Like it's improved a lot. Like, you know, there's a lot of functionality, but I would like to see how the 24/7 patch like addresses like all like the major complaints. I feel like it has not changed as much as I would like it to change from February to now.
Yeah, I guess. Do you guys think that the timing of how they did this, like I think that's pretty widely agreed upon, that giving Smite 1 one more year let Smite 2 cook a little bit more. Do you guys also agree with that? That they should have just delayed Smite 2 till 2025?
Yeah, for sure. But
probably.
I think it's like a very hindsight thing. I think if they could have done that, they would have, right? But I think it's very easy to assume that if Hi-Rez pushed Smite 2 out this soon, it's because they had to, like financially.
Yeah,
that's true.
Is what I think the truth is, really. Like, you know, Smite 1 as well is not a new gen game, and console is the biggest market they have. If new gen console players aren't like getting a new gen product, then the game's just gonna fall off, right? So it's pretty essential to speed that up and get it on next gen consoles as quick as they can.
Yep, and you know, I think it's pretty hard to like, or it's easy to armchair you know, armchair CEO from the outside and say like what they should have done.
For sure.
Like we don't have the financials, we don't know like what's going on.
Yeah.
And also it's a really hard problem, like sort of like the Overwatch problem, where like if you send your devs work on Overwatch 2 and then like for like Smite 2 for example, then you don't really have devs work on Smite 1. Like I think the few devs on Smite 1 have done like a crazy good job.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Like the value they produce is insane for the amount of like people they had. And so
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I kind of just think like maybe there was a scenario where like they delay it by one more year, but they send like maybe like half of the Smite 1 dev team to work on Smite 2 at a slower pace, but over time they add in more devs as time goes on. But it's kind of hard because then like content in Smite 1 will dwindle or can diminish and won't be as good. And so it's just kind of hard to say like if it should be delayed by a year, but I don't know. I think
it would have been weird, because now that you say that, it would have been if they do split it half and half, like Smite 2 is not going to grow that much or like speed up its creation time with having, you know, 4 people on it or however many, because half of it's still on Smite 1, and then Smite 1's being like half baked for another year. So I do think hindsight is pretty 50-50, and it's pretty easy to say, why didn't they just put another year of Smite 1 Esports and keep working on Smite 2 on the offside?
If it was that easy, like Hi-Rez would have just done it. Like that's what people are really failing to grasp when it comes to that discussion.
Is there anything that would have stopped you guys or would stop you guys from going to Smite 2 like 24/7 and staying on Smite 1? Like anything with the game, anything with Smite 1, anything with Smite 2, like, or if the servers are really bad, that's probably one thing, but like outside of that, is there anything that would stop you from going to Smite 2 once it's released?
So I think a big thing will be how the category's performing, like viewership wise. Like if I'm streaming full time and the game I'm streaming has no like, you know, no revenue in it,
Very true.
I'm not just gonna sit there and like just hope it gets better, you know. So I think that's one big thing, how they approach the like the drop system and stuff like that. But we can go into detail later. And then I think performance is a big one. Not for me personally, but if other people can't play the game and the population is pretty low because of it, like the game will just be hard to enjoy. And then also I'd say there needs to be like a good form of progression in the game, so it's worth grinding. Like there needs to be like a purpose to playing. All of those things could probably make me play more Smite 1, but personally I'm kind of like, I'm so done with Smite 1. Like I need something new, you know? Like I kind of just can't wait to get on it and see how it's doing.
Yeah, 100%. I think I definitely agree. Like the viewership will matter a ton. I think no matter what, personally, it's rough, but I think the viewership's gonna be down no matter what. I mean, it's already down quite a bit from what it usually is, but
yeah, I saw Chris's tweet. It was like, pretty insane to just.
Wait, what was Chris's tweet?
Let's see if I can find it. But I didn't know it was that bad. It was basically just like showing like the stats. Let's see. I'll put the image in Discord. Oh. Where is it? How do I general chat? Right, it's in general. So.
Holy.
The stats are down across the board. So like the the average viewers is down 40%, max viewers are down 80%. That's because of Worlds.
Yeah.
Hours streamed are down. Even though I stream a
Channels
lot,
live, like everything. Yeah.
but
Wait,
yeah,
that
hours watched, everything's down. I almost thought this was not true, but I mean,
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
true.
people saying like, yeah, it's summertime and stuff like that, but like we've all streamed for years now, and like it never gets this low.
No.
Like,
yeah,
it's obviously all to do with the transition and like people just don't really have an interest in a game that doesn't get new content.
yeah, 100%.
Pretty much.
And like when the alphas come out, it's like kind of like a one-time thing.
Yeah,
like a one. It's like
sorry.
pretty. It's pretty. No, you're good. It's like pretty rare, but people like, let's say like 20% of people want to watch Smite 2. So if you're playing Smite 1, they're gonna leave your channel to go watch someone else playing Smite 2. Like let's say Incon's playing Smite 2, they're gonna go watch Incon. But like when I did a polls, like it was like 80% of every poll I did, every time I did a poll, people did not want to watch Smite 2. So 80% want to watch Smite 1. So if I'm streaming Smite 2, then a lot of people are probably not gonna watch or not want to watch. They're probably gonna watch someone else playing Smite 1. Let's say Haddix is playing Smite 1, they're gonna watch him instead of me. And so I think that's gonna happen to every streamer. And so it is kind of rough. There's always gonna be like a viewership like plummet. I feel like every time, but
Yeah.
I think it'll get better. I think it'll get better as the open beta comes out and like as the game progresses and like as like advertising ramps up and all that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how fast people will transition to watching Smite 2 from Smite 1, because Smite 1 viewers do not like watching anything other than Smite 1, or the majority of them.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So
I think it's been a common thing for like even the top streamers, right? Like even Weekend and Incon,
Yep.
like the amount of players that follow you to another game is just really low. Like even if you have a large community, like they just love Smite. Like everyone is just here for Smite 1.
And I'm curious to know if that extends to Smite 2. Like, do they only like watching Smite 1, or is it just Smite in general? They just want to watch like their favorite streamers stream any iteration of Smite. And then it's just how fast will that transition happen? I think it's a weird spot Hires is in with keeping Smite 1 servers up and going into Smite 2. Because even Overwatch and like CSGO, actually I don't know much about CSGO. I don't know if either of you guys do, but like Overwatch canceled Smite 1, or Overwatch canceled Smite. Overwatch canceled Overwatch 1, and then they just went all in 24/7 on Overwatch 2.
Games were like side grades rather than like full on upgrades, pretty much. Like more like CSGO was definitely a bigger upgrade. Like I think they'd been working on it longer, but Overwatch 2 was like, I'm pretty sure they just like flipped the switch and it was just a new patch, pretty much. Like, I think Smite's in like its very own original spot here, where like they don't have the option of just flipping over to Smite 2 and closing Smite 1 because the game's just not ready. And especially with the sequel, if you provide a sequel that is like not even on the same level as the main game, like you're just gonna make your core player base unhappy, and then there's no hope. Like you can't have a big sequel if your core player base is gone,
Yeah.
It's like, so they can't really risk just pulling the plug on Smite 1, especially again with like the old gen consoles. Like there's gonna be people who just don't have a new gen console because they don't need it, right? Like you can't just like tell all those console players that like you're no longer valued because you have a fucking PS4 instead of a PS5. Like it's very risky to just like instantly transition, but it's also very risky keeping it up for too long. So it's gonna be interesting how they navigate that.
I didn't think about the console thing. That's definitely a good insight.
Yeah, it is a like half of Smite's player base is on console, which is insane to think about. And then they either have to upgrade, and there's like a lot of people that just don't really care to upgrade. So like, is Smite 2 going to be enough for them to upgrade? For some people, obviously yes. For some people, it's not going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is way over half. Yeah, way over half. Like what, like 70-something% or something.
Yeah. At least when I was on console, it was insane. Console was so much. I think console, when I played on console, was like twice the size of PC, which is just
I think
crazy.
It still would be right now, yeah.
Yeah, it probably is if you think about it, because I feel like most PC players are probably playing some other game, and then Smite's really the only MOBA.
PC.
So now I guess let's talk about the PR for Smite 2, because that is something that is massive. I think Smite 1 did put a lot into their marketing, especially when Smite early release, the $1 million beta tournament, and then tried to get big streamers to play it in other tournaments. Like, Hi-Rez has tried. I think Smite had its own issues that a lot of people couldn't look over. And if they put the same amount of marketing effort as they do into Smite 2, as long as Smite 2 is like a good game, obviously, like a lot of it hinges on how good of a game is Smite 2. Is everything going to be worked through the kinks and all that? I think if they do put that same amount of effort towards Smite 2 in the marketing department, I think that Smite 2 will only grow from that. So I think they should look back at, throwing some sort of tournament. Obviously try to get your own pros or ex-pros into it also. But try to get some big streamers just to try it also, because they're your biggest marketing tool.
I feel very strongly about that. Like, you can't rely on people who don't care about your game to grow your game through sponsorships. Like, it doesn't work in the long run. It hasn't worked for any game, literally any game. Like, even AAA titles who spend millions on getting streamers to play their game, it just keeps them relevant for like a week at most. I mean,
so you don't like it?
Paying other streamers? No, I don't. I really don't value it unless it's something that includes the current community as well. Like, there was a AAA game recently that it had like a $70 price tag, which is obviously different, but I mean, they ended up paying more streamers to play the game than they had actual players to play the game. So it's like, you have to be really careful with how much of a budget you contribute to paying people who don't genuinely support your game, because it's gonna bite you in the back. I mean, look at DKO, look at Rogue Company. Like, how much
That's
funding
true.
went to content creators that genuinely like were game hopping, right? Like, if you're a variety streamer, you're not gonna randomly fall in love with Smite or any MOBA and like play it for the rest of your life. Like, for example, like Summit played the game for free and he liked it for a little bit. But even that like isn't gonna be enough to make him want to commit to the game or his viewers to the game. It's like, you need ways to get Smite out there for a larger variety of people, and you do that through like saving money on it by just using your community and pushing them, right? Like, I think the OTK tournament was a really good example of it. Like, you had your own creators on top of other creators, like, coming together to, kind of make the biggest event Smite's had, like, since the launch tournament. And you just need more stuff like that to get Smite's name out there, but not try and like push it down people's throats, kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, with that tournament, right? Did they didn't pay them to actually like play, right? It was just like the prize pool for like the tournament, right?
Yeah, it was just the prize pool, which is just a way healthier way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you give them a prize pool and you give them drops. Like, everyone who had drops was getting thousands of viewers. Like, it was very good. Like, if you were involved in the tourney, and you had those drops, like if you were the Smite player who was coaching, or if you were the content creator on the team, like, it was definitely worth it for you to play Smite for like that week or two.
Yeah, definitely. Like, also, I think like the best marketing ever is always gonna be word of mouth. Like, if the game's actually good, I feel like that's like the number one thing, is like getting the game where it's like fun and polished and just an overall good game, a modern game. Like, people are gonna play it and they're gonna tell their friends. I think that's the most effective way of marketing. Was that one game, Pal World? I think it was called
Banger.
Like,
Never played it.
I don't know if anybody saw any advertisements or any commercials or any like streamers sponsored for that game, but like that game was like universally like enjoyed. Like that game was popping off, and like you could ask pretty much any gamer and they probably heard of it, or like know a friend who's played it, and I feel like that was just like word of mouth, and I think the biggest thing for Smite is just to focus on getting the game good. Obviously, you gotta have marketing department.
For sure.
You gotta have like traditional marketing, like on social medias and stuff like that. But and like you said, I think having like incorporating your own community is definitely like probably the best way of marketing, besides word of mouth, and besides
you need to be organic so that it actually sticks, rather than like a flash in the pan or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But I also do think it's really hard to market games these days. Like, I don't know if you guys are the same, but when I get like shown an ad of a game or something, like, it kind of turns me off even more. I prefer
100%.
to see it, like, organically somewhere. So it is really tough. Like, if I see an ad on like a Reddit page or like on Twitter or something, like I am just ignoring it. So like,
Yeah.
I definitely understand like that it's tough for high-res to like even like advertise the game in a way that's productive, and it's not gonna be easy for sure.
Yeah. The best way I find games is just like my friends saying like, "Yo, download this game," or like Shroud when he'll play a new FPS, or XQC when he plays a new party game. Like those are literally the only ways I find games. Like if I see an ad for a game, I feel like sometimes they're not too well done. I think it depends. Like if it's like a cool cinematic, like Smite has pretty cool cinematics. But like besides that, it's like I'm definitely turned off as well.
Yeah, like even the you guys know like the new Shroud game, the one where you control like 2 people. Bro, I didn't see any ads for it, and then the tweet just popped up, and like Shroud retweeted it, and that's all I saw, and it's just gotten like so much hype. And
Yeah,
all it was just
for access for it
this
as well,
game's coming out.
Yeah.
And I mean that genuinely might just be the way to go. Is just like one-time drop of yo, Smite's coming out. I think it's been a little weird so far. I think advertising Smite 2 because it's been like Smite's coming out in a bit, Smite 2's coming out in a bit, Smite 2's coming out in a bit. In a bit, Smite 2 is going to be live 24/7. We're having a tournament in Smite 2 in a little bit. I think it's like
the flow of
they're putting a lot of hype into it
so far. For sure. I mean, also it didn't help that the start of Smite 2, there was a lot of drama about the skins carrying over and stuff. Jix's people were pretty ignorant about that, in my opinion. I mean, that's just how a transition to any new game works, unless it's
it was really dumb.
It's been happening for over a decade in like sports games or COD or other countless games. But it just kicked off the Smite announcement with like instant negativity, especially from within its own like community, right? And then obviously the delays and kind of like the inconsistencies or like lack of improvement in the tests, like you're just setting Smite 2 up for a really tough time to change people's opinions. Because I mean, in modern gaming, a first impression is the most important thing. Like people rarely go back to a game once they've seen it once and made up their mind.
Yep.
And I think that that's something that's in hindsight it's very easy to say, but it's probably something that's going to hurt Smite 2 on release, especially because a few big streamers have already tried the alphas, and like I think they're going to be a lot less likely to come back after trying like the most basic version of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it was like, I get why they wanted to get the game out because they want to make it as good as possible. But I think there was like an avenue of just keeping those friends and families weekends going to try to learn it that way. Because I also think there is like Smite's a very, what's it called, like close community. They have things how they want it. I think keeping it more internal and then kind of exploding it onto the scene in August, I think would have made it feel a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure.
And the initial tournaments that they also ran were attempted to be like really hype, and there was really not too much behind it. And with me mentioning that, I also want to transition to talk about something else with kind of like esports and the Smite game Twitch channel. When Smite was live with the Smite Pro League, it was impossible to tell if it was like a streamer or if it was like the actual game going on. And that's one of the few things that's always really, really bugged me with trying to watch Smite Esports, is having a channel that's ran like that, where it's just almost always live. It's not 24/7 anymore, so I can't say that, but like 20 hours, 18 hours a week.
Did they change it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 18 or 20 hours now. But having something run so often that it's almost always live, it makes it impossible to know when you're actually like wanting to watch esports. Like I had so many people be like, yo, you guys played today? Or yo, there was games today? I had no idea. And that is something that I really want in Smite 2, is yes, there can be 100% a community channel. That's not the issue. It's not like I don't want people to grow on Twitch. I just want the Smite game Twitch, or whatever it is, Smite game 2, Smite Pro, whatever the Twitch is. I just want that to be for anything pro. That's literally what it's there for, is to just support like the esport.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean, every other game does the same thing, right? Like Riot Game is only live for esports, or like the Valorant channel is only live for esports.
Yeah.
I also do think that, I mean, another reason why people would never know when esports is on is because the the way Hi-Rez implemented the in-game esports page was just like it may as well not be there.
Bad.
True,
I mean,
yeah.
the schedules were out of date by like at least 6 months. The leaderboards were a year old.
The standings.
Website was constantly down. Like there wasn't like I don't know why they don't have like an in-game player for the esports. Like that just brings in so many, like, even if it's fake viewers, everyone does it. It helps the game. Like that's just how it is, right? Like
Riot does that
on the website.
Yeah.
Riot does it on their website. CS does it in game. But it also just gets people who don't even use Twitch like interested maybe in esports, right? Like they're gonna be in queue and they'll be like, oh, there's a Smite game to watch. Like, oh, it's pro. Like maybe it'll click for them. Maybe it'll interest them. Maybe they'll see something they want to try, and like
that's exactly it. Yeah,
it'll get them deeper into the scene. And like I think that's why Smite has ended up being such a casual MOBA, because like there hasn't really been any push to get those people interested in comp. And like I'm sure all of us have experienced it. Like we were all casual players at some point as well. Like I never came into Smite like begging for esports or like hunting it down. Like it kind of just happened like organically. And I feel like as the game has grown, it's moved away from that in pretty much every way possible. Like less leaderboards, less like emphasis on competing and anything. Like it's just kind of been hidden into this random little corner of the game. When it has such a big impact on the game and the eyes it gets onto Smite. So I think that like it's such an important thing to focus on for them, to have like a good esports page, a good way of promoting people to check it out. Not even like force it down their throats, you know, just have a little page which gives you all the info you need, all the rosters. They used to have that, but it doesn't work anymore, or didn't work. Like they used to have a page where it would show players like socials or like Twitch pages, stuff like that, you know, just like really basic stuff. I think Overwatch has a good esports page they could look to like pretty much copy from. There's a lot of good stuff out there for them to take ideas from. They just need to put a bit more effort into it. In my opinion.
And like the ranked rewards as well, right?
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, people like cheese for that in like Joust, right? So that's why they took it away, right? Like people
I think
there shouldn't even be a ranked Joust, but that's. I think like ranked Joust is so dumb.
Modes and stuff later, because I think that's actually
yeah.
Also, real quick, they used to have the all the times on the fucking loading frame for season 2. Do you guys remember that? It was like the Smite, the SPL bundle. It had like a loading frame and it showed like who the next game is. Like it was like dynamic.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah, so like every lobby would be like, or you know, every weekend would be a different time, different team. It was like really sick.
Yeah, I think ranked's a big talking point as well, just because I mean Smite might be the only competitive game with a not very competitive ranked scene. I think there's a lot of things to talk about that. I think one that players don't talk about more is like all of us do it as well. We kind of complain when people try hard or like pick the best cards and stuff like that. Yeah. That instantly breeds like a really chill ranked scene. I kind of personally want everyone to try and change that, because I think it will help the game grow.
I think
if everyone takes ranked seriously and creates serious content and kind of pushes Smite to be an actual MOBA, like it'll only attract other actual MOBA players. Like the reason other MOBAs don't really care about Smite is because it's not really a real MOBA at the moment. It's like a
Pokemon Unite
would say it. It's a party game, or as Twig would say it, it's a tier 6 indie game. Like. I think that's something the players can definitely do to shift the, like, I guess like the message around Smite, but also Hi-Rez needs to do a lot better of a job of making like real-time leaderboards, not one that updates like after you relog or like in a week. I mean, obviously they will be changing the ranked system.
Which is good.
To see how that's gonna be. Yeah, it's great. Also, I really do think God leaderboards need a lot more emphasis behind them, and rewards. Like, if you finish rank 1 on a character for a split or a season, like, you should get some sort of reward for that, even something basic, right? Like, maybe they can tie that in with the Ascension passes, because I think they'll have, like, stat tracking through that. Like, they can just have a specific one where it's like, it just says you're the rank 1 Susano for season 1 of Smite 2 or something like that, like something that makes a player feel like it's worth their time to put time into ranked, right, instead of casuals.
Yeah,
I think
Bro,
that's
the,
a big
the
deal.
same way there's like the ranked conquest borders and stuff like that. You could have like sick rank, like you know the area where you have your stars, like the masters border. You can like toss on that for like the rank 1 or like a grandmasters border for number 1. I also think part of it is 100% on the players. There's obviously not enough emphasis on like, oh, I want to get to grandmasters. Everyone's like,
yeah, like
who cares?
All of us treat it like a joke.
We definitely do.
Because I think it is a joke, honestly. Like back in the day, like when I was
I do agree with you.
Yeah, when I first joined the SPL and stuff, I was like the biggest ranked tryhard. Even before that, I was like the biggest tryhard. Like I would be raging and typing all game, trying to win every single game.
I mean, you can't even demote out of masters, you know? Like
that is so dumb.
For example,
you can't demote a masters. Also, it's so dumb the border when you have to touch a rank and you get the.
That's dumb too.
Border. It should be whatever you finish in. So only 25 people per split get the GM border. That would like really influence people to try really hard so they can flex their border and casuals, whatever. And I think also like the whole like MMR system, like I think once that is fixed, once matchmaking is improved, like once there's a bigger player base hopefully, and there's better ranked incentives, I think more people will try hard. I'll be try harding personally in Smite 2, like even like when rank drops the first day, like
yeah.
I'm gonna try and treat it like
you common
like full try hard, huh?
You common day 1.
Yeah, I'll be common.
All right, I'll be in comms.
Let's just change Smite forever, you know? Like, guys, the way I've been saying it is, we are the plumbers of Smite 2. It is our job. It's our responsibility.
Oh, don't say that.
It's true though. In 10 years,
we are the plumbers.
Yeah.
You know, it's our responsibility 100%. To kick the game off strong, you know?
Yeah, hopefully there's comms. Hopefully it's like it works better too. I feel like comms in Smite 1 are like don't really work.
Not being able to change audio sources, like dude,
that was so bad.
My webcam and unplug my PS5 controller to use comms.
That is so troll. That is super troll. And like,
also,
you look at like Faker, right? Or like people in League, they literally try so hard every rank game. They just try so hard.
They have like Discords and stuff, right?
Yeah. I was about to mention partially with League, but I think a partial reason that ranked has become less serious is like the Pro League has almost became a little bit less serious. I think back in like 5, 6, 7 even, like COVID even, I think it peaked with like really competitive. You want to win every game as much as you can. I think it became a little more lackadaisical, a little less, we need to be trying as hard as we can.
Yeah. What do you think it is?
I just think it's like a little bit of burnout and a little bit of just repetitiveness. I think when you're doing something for so long and nobody's really testing you, I think it just becomes really easy to just be comfortable in your ways. And I think that's where like NA League is at like right now. I don't know if you guys really pay attention to that too much, but it is a death zone there. Like nobody cares. The games are just like nobody cares to hit the top thing. Yeah, it's nobody cares. And then like you look at like China and Korea and it's, bro, we need to get to the top 50 ranks. We need to have a chance to make like these minor leagues. And I think there is a correlation between good ranked means good SPL means good ranked. And it's like a bunch of different things, but it's like the players, it's the system in place, it's like the esports, it's the rewards. So there's like a bunch of different things. Yeah, salary. There's a bunch of different things that are going to come into play. And it's going to be interesting to see how it will start with Smite 2. I would not be surprised if it's super competitive and everybody's trying, because there's always like that initial push, but it's like, can it be sustained? And then, back and forth. How's SPL? How's ranked going to be? But I am really excited to see what they do with ranked. Innocent Rabbit has said a lot of things that he's excited for, a lot of things that he wants to do. They're going to kind of change the system, which is really cool. And that gets me excited. And then kind of seeing what they do for esports. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to talk about with esports. Like, do you want to talk about how they're going to implement it?
For a ranked thing as well. One of my viewers suggested like a clan wars system where you fight other clans and gain points.
That'd be cool.
I think that system, or something that League has like Clash. Like,
another banger idea.
It's such a gateway into competing in esports that I think it almost has to be in the game, personally. Like,
agreed.
Everyone loved clans when they were a thing. I was in a clan before I was a pro as well, with like some of my friends. Like it was just fun, right? Like you could use the clan chat, you get like the shadow skins before they removed them. Imagine if you actually had a clan leaderboard, like the you could climb or grind to, and like
points for your ranked mark. And
yeah, like I don't know what the rewards themselves could be, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff they can do with progression and stuff, and you know, like UI stuff, like loading frames, borders, like profile banners, like I don't know, all that stuff. I mean, like, dude, as a gamer, like any little thing like will make you grind like that. I feel like if it's rare and something you can flex over other players, right?
Yeah.
So I think bringing back clans and adding some sort of way to compete against other clans would just be really healthy for the game as a whole. It'll
100%.
make even casual players like more interested in like being better than other casual players, and that is inherently competitive and great for a MOBA.
I think you're right, because that is like the halfway mark to jumping into competitive, because ranked is a competitive game mode. Yes, you can calm and stuff like that, but there's like a certain level that you can't get to with like not queuing with the same 5 people, and having like a clash or clans system tournament in place, something like that, just makes it so competitive is even more enticing. So 100% I agree. There has to be some iteration of, it doesn't have to be 5v5 ranked. It just has to be like a weekly, monthly type of clan or tournament thing or something like that. And I think that's a good idea. Did you guys want to? Yeah. What do you guys think about esports? How do you guys want them to implement it? How do you think they should transition into Smite 2 esports? What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's hard because I feel like esports across like the entire industry is like not doing too well, honestly.
Yeah,
so
sure.
it doesn't really breed too much enthusiasm. But also I'm not really an esports like expert, even though I played esports and I watched a lot of esports and a lot of different games. Like I'm not really into like the financials. I don't know how like exactly it works, but I think well, my first opinion is that I think these like small tournaments they're running on like the Smite Game channel and all that with like the spectator the way it is, I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not like polished enough to be running like you know like tournaments at this moment. Like there's not enough like teams. Like it's during a very small window, and also I feel like it's just a bad look. I feel it's actually like diminishing. Like it's like doing the opposite of what's like it's supposed to do. Like the spectator like obviously is, you know, not great, and you could say like maybe they want feedback to make it better, but I feel like you don't really need feedback to make it better in this case. Like it's just, you know, don't make minions invisible and add, you know, health bars. that's like the feedback, and so it's like borderline unwatchable. So I feel like they should hold off on the tournaments until they get spectator fixed, and then start introducing them, and then like, you know, they should probably announce like the prize pool for the LAN if it's good. I mean, hopefully it's good. If it's good, I think a lot of players will be interested. And a lot of people will be grinding for that, you know, the Vegas tournament, or maybe there's like another tournament in the EU or something. And then they should announce like the founder series, like details, and to get people excited and hyped, and like people planning, making teams, and all that.
Do you guys think that they're rushing esports out too fast, like putting the tournaments out and then already announcing a LAN before anything with it, like the game is actually even announced?
So I think the actual tournaments are good, in my opinion. I think just having like basic tournaments to show that Hi-Rez has interest in supporting esports from the start is not bad. I think, like Sot said, the spectator situation like genuinely just creates a negative discussion instantly. Like, dude, like I was watching that tournament and I tried my best to enjoy it, but everyone is just clowning the game, right? Like everyone is clowning the spectator and like esports and stuff like that. You can still have this tournament, but just watch player POVs on stream or something like that, and you can just switch between them. And I think people would enjoy that way more than watching like a slightly scuffed spectator. And obviously spectator will improve with time, but until it does, I think it's just more useful to just find other ways to watch these tournament games. I think it's fine to have them. I think it's fine to gauge interest in different regions. I think it's fine to give people, especially people who weren't competing before, a chance to play in a tournament. Like especially the first set of tournaments they did, there was a lot of teams in both regions, and a lot of those players were probably players who never played any form of comp before. And I think it's important to give those players an opportunity to see what it's like, maybe play against some former pros, and just build their experience and interest early on. So I definitely don't think they've rushed it out. I mean, especially because we don't even know any details about Vegas, for example. Like, if they were rushing it, we'd know, like, everything, there would have already been an EU LAN, for example. Like that would have been really rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think if the EU land didn't go belly up, right? The company they were working with, like Stu said, they like went bankrupt or something, and they were gonna have a EU LAN in September.
Yeah, that would have been really bad.
That would have been crazy early. I feel like there's no way, like, it would have been literally next month. Would have been the EU LAN. Like we would have been like preparing to like, go there. Like that would be a little too early.
That would have been strange to see how they would have done that or dealt with that, because spectator's not working. Okay. As of now, spectator's not working.
I feel like the communication between like the esports department and maybe the development department just isn't like on the same page with the timeline of stuff, is what it feels like. I mean, especially with how early the game is in development, it's hard to have a consistent timeline. It's not like they can just give us every detail. Like, but I mean, I like, more than anything personally, like I really want to see a roadmap for 2025.
100%.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
You know, even if it's not going to go perfectly right, just like give players an idea of what they're going to compete for, like post Vegas, because like even if Vegas doesn't have a crazy prize pool, right? Let's say, I mean, like let's say it's like 250K, right? Like it'll be a good like stepping stone, as long as for the rest of the year we know there's going to be tournaments leading up to like an EU major LAN or something like that. It's just giving players something to my chat saying 250K despair question mark. But
you did say,
dude,
yeah, even if it's nothing, like 250K.
Alpha, like I don't want a $3 million alpha tournament. Like,
wait, they're saying 250 is low?
Yeah, like,
bro.
I mean, I'm just
unless we're all just like, give me Vegas and I'm never playing Smite again. Like, give me like 500 million Vegas tournament, you know? Like,
yeah.
Okay, no, maybe they think 250K is too low. We need 100K at least. Yeah, I mean,
100K
number is. I just don't expect it to be a massive number because the game is just simply not ready for.
Guys, if you're thinking 7 digits, it's time to get your head out of your ass. It's not hitting a million.
It's simply not possible, I think.
Yeah, I don't think
and that's fine as well.
Yeah,
like,
it's just kind of rough when you think about it, because if let's say they postponed or canceled, whatever you want to say, the SPL, right? Which, I mean, they're transitioning, right? So it's like, I understand, but they're saving like $2 million plus. Yeah, and so I think like the opinion is like they could maybe put like half of the money they're saving, not the full amount of salary money, but like half the money, because Stu did say like maybe the incentive structure should change when after the whole like the Ravens,
the Richard moment,
the Richard moment, and so he did say maybe there should be different incentives. So I mean, there's a chance if you take that, maybe you're like, maybe they're thinking, okay, we'll keep the same money or similar money, but we'll just put it to tournaments instead. And that's kind of what I thought would happen. So if you just take half the SPL money, $1 million, spread across 2 tournaments, 500K each prize pool, I feel like that would be, that could be like maybe possible. I'm not sure. I don't think that's
how much?
Like if you just take half of the
so a 500K Vegas and a 500K EU LAN is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I think that's like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But
yeah,
I think if you take from this Stu perspective and you think like at least 50% of the salary money, they're still saving like over $1 million.
Oh, okay, I got you.
The issue I have is I don't think they want to ever spend that much money on esports. Like,
not for a while.
That's true.
I think the esports department, like, I mean, they'd probably agree with us. Like, they probably wish they had like millions to throw on like a bunch of events or like cool lands and stuff like that. But obviously, before Smite 2 is even making a profit or whatever, like, or in a good spot financially, I don't think they're gonna want to risk like too much money on the esport, especially before the game is even fully ready for it.
But I mean, how much money did they get from the whole like pass thing?
Probably like a few mil, but then we don't know how many people refunded it.
Yeah, that's true.
You could have refunded it because it's a pre-order.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think talking about the money and stuff in terms of tournament prize pools, I think there's bigger stuff to worry about personally. I think.
Wait, before you move on from that, you move on from the money, if they do put like a certain amount of money into 2025, like a couple tournaments, do you guys want it to be like first place wins like half the prize pool, or would you guys rather have it like spread out between
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about pretty much.
Oh, okay,
well,
big.
yeah.
Then you can take over.
So I think that something that people are gonna experience is gonna be different in Smite 2 to 1 is I don't think we're gonna get an esport where every player is making a living from the game. And I think that's gonna be a big shock to a large part of pro players, but I'm gonna assume the Smite 2 is gonna be very top heavy. And I think that'll probably make a lot of current pros not that interested because it's I mean we're all a lot older now, like we're not kids anymore, or like some of us are still in our early 20s and it's a little bit more fine to do it, but the older you get the less you can take these risks of if I'll just win like my salary for the year. So it's gonna be a big risk, I think, but I think high-res should probably commit to it, like having a top-heavy esports scene, which is more tournament-based and not salary-based. It'll lead to new players coming into the scene, younger players as well, who are more able to commit time to the game and grind and kind of bring a new generation of players to the game, right? Like instead of anything like we had, which was a more locked system, where you kind of just saw the same players over and over again in one league.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just really important to have an actual open esports scene that rewards people who win, because I think the longer that Smite went on, the more charitable it got. I mean, even the initial salary system was better, kind of way. Like you'd have to negotiate a higher rate than the base
orgs.
rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously the orgs made that like a nightmare because some of them were just horrible orgs. But I think that was way healthier because like people were rewarded for doing better, and it just made you more likely to put a lot of effort into the whole season, right? Because if you were winning, you'd get rewarded with a bigger salary like the following season. So I think that pretty much it should just be more of a winners get rewarded, and like if you're losing, I mean, there should be risk, right? Like if you're losing, you shouldn't really be making a living from the game, which sucks. Like especially with how many of us are just used to it, right? Like for years we were kind of just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we're still like 90% of the players were still trying to win. Maybe like if there was a few outliers, but like it just isn't really a sustainable system for high res to just keep giving us a salary to just like play like an MTV league with drama every like 4 months.
Yeah, I think it's especially, I mean, I was on the lower end teams for a little bit. I don't know if you guys really were that much, but it was almost like you could, if you wanted to, take like a week off and not really take it, as seriously as you needed to, because you had like this fallback of just being guaranteed like a livable wage. And I mean, I think that kind of goes back to like the competition side of things of the better you play, the more you get paid. The more you get paid, the harder you're going to want to play. The more serious you're going to take ranked. The more serious the ranked games are going to be. The more serious like getting GM is. The more opportunity you have to like make SPL and stuff like that. So it's like it's weird because you have to find this middle ground of making enough money that orgs want to be interested, that the orgs are reputable and kind of pay attention to stuff. Because like with League, with Valorant, the orgs know the players and they reach out to the players they want. When I was originally getting into SPL, the orgs knew nothing. Okay, not all of them. Most of the orgs knew nothing, and they would just like kind of like pick players based off of like one player that they liked, and then that was like the team, and that's all it really was. But like in Valorant, it's like, bro, who's the best? Tens is the best player, bro. Give me Tens. We'll pay him $3 million just to get him on the team, and then we'll build around him. Tens is worth it. He's like a very good player. It's not like Tens is making 100,000. Same with everyone else. There's a want beyond just like winning a championship. There's like individual value if your team is not playing too well.
Yeah. Well, I think Smite was actually never gonna have that as soon as it went to a one league system though, because like
for sure
the value of the esport is just locked into one league, right? Like as soon as they do that.
We can talk about that now too.
Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, also Barrow was saying he can't see orgs entering Smite again, which
Barracuda.
Yeah, Yeah, he's in my chat. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Barreled Kuda, he's back. I mean, I don't think I think some orgs still have like some ties to Smite, and it might interest them to give it a shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it obviously all depends on how Hi-Rez approaches it. Like, will they provide a revenue share, which most other esports do, right? With like team skins or like random esports content that they sell. I feel like Hi-Rez has always been really stingy with that, personally. Like the skins that esports got, or the cosmetics, or the, I don't know, just like the marketing around it or push around it was just kind of non-existent. So I think that if they want orgs to come into Smite and they want it to be more attractive for them, they have to put a lot of effort into kind of making the orgs believe that it's worth it for them. But also they need to vet the orgs better, because
For sure.
bro,
Holy fuck.
I mean, I've been on an org which was a nightmare, Renegades. I'm sure you two have also been on some.
Yeah, I was
on Obey.
I mean, yeah, I was on Renegades, and like the whole team just like I think everyone quit except the CEO and like
yeah, they fired everyone that was on our year, and they got a new group of people, which is why they let Renegades back in. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And they were just as bad the second time around, or were they fined?
Yeah, they weren't that bad. They weren't that
I
bad,
think they were a
honestly.
lot better. Like
But,
with us,
yeah,
it was like late payments, lied about having a house. You know, like started our visa process months late. Tried
Fuck.
to take Rafa's MVP
Oh,
trophy
fuck.
for MSI. Like it was a lot of
No
stuff.
way.
It was a lot of stuff.
That's
Yeah, we were literally
crazy.
at a team dinner, and the RNG guy was like, "Oh yeah, they just called from the office. They'd like your trophy."
That is
It was
crazy.
so insane, bro.
What did he say? What did he do? He's like, no, like.
He totally said fuck off.
Dude, no way Raffer's giving that up. Raffer is definitely
like,
saying
Raffer
fuck now.
I would not give that shit up, bro. Hell no.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nightmare org stories, and I think a lot of viewers don't know that, obviously.
They don't,
I mean,
for sure.
I mean, like, I've personally been, oh yeah, Barry even said LG went 3 to 4 months periods without paying us. I mean, like, all of us have our nightmare stories. I've told a few on stream, and I'm sure you guys probably have, like, over the years, but orgs are really, really tough, man. They're really tough to trust in unless you get something like SSG, you know, who, I mean, that's one that always comes to mind in my career, because like they were perfect. Like literally, they actually cared about being in Smite and wanted to do a lot for the game, you know, even if it never ended up happening.
Sanguine is like another one.
Sanguine, Rival, like the ones that came from Smite as well, like very passionate and good for the game. I just think it's really hard to find that balance of orgs that are going to be productive for the game, but also like where it's worth it for them to do all that stuff, you know, like especially with how big of a risk it's going to be. Like Smite 2 itself is a risk, so I don't know, it's going to be tricky to navigate. But also for players as well, I mean, it isn't necessarily a good thing to be signed to an org, right? Like, I still think there should be a choice. Like, I don't think players should be forced to be on an org. Like, if I'm on a team that's winning every week, right? Like, let's say I'm Cowabunga like Sot, right? And I'm just dominating NA. I should be allowed to just stay as that team and get all my money instead of giving it to an org, you know?
Yeah.
Like a cut to an org for salary.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, so like, what is in it for us? Like in that case, like, you know.
Yeah, like that's the thing when it comes to negotiating, and like, you know, will they give you a good enough salary for a cut? You know, will they like, I don't know, will they pay for like travel or a boot camp? That boot camps used to be one big thing that some orgs would provide.
Would you even get a jersey?
That was cool though.
The jersey, bro. It went from Renegades giving me 1 jersey to SSG giving me like 20. That was like a factory, bro. It was crazy.
Bro, I got a T-shirt for a jersey one year. Not even like a full-blown jersey. It was literally they gave me a T-shirt.
Would send us like the whole merch line. I have like a raincoat, like some jumpers, some hoodies. Like if you can get an org like that, then you would willingly give up some of your cut to like just get that support. But
I think it was Obey that was like, no, we're not gonna provide anything other than the 1 jersey, but you know, if you guys want, we'll give you like 20% off if you want to go like buy it and you know, support us. Like, bro, fuck no, what?
Dude, PK was another org that was really, really kind to players. Like, they invested so much in their team house, and like they would pay for like entertainment, you know, like Netflix and all that stuff in the house and all that.
What?
Shit. Yeah, PK were crazy. For the first team they had, like the EU team, like PK were great as well. So yeah, it's just gonna be tough to get that again instantly. I think Smite will probably have a year or two where
It's
they
definitely
can't
far
rely
away.
on, yeah, all of it's really far away. Honestly, like, I just hope that the esports is motivating enough to get people to just like, put time into it and get it off the ground, kind of, right? Like just how the early players did in Smite 1, like until launch they weren't doing it for like thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
But I also do think times have changed, and like a lot less people can afford to just do stuff for fun,
Yeah.
especially the older you get. So yeah, it'll just be like a really tricky thing to figure out, for sure.
Well, now that we got, you got
you
something?
want to talk about like how they should do regions, right? Like
Oh yeah. What do you got?
Oh yeah, I just think they need to include as many regions as they can. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
just find people who are willing to run those leagues for you or tournaments for you.
Yeah.
Like just get Smite out there to as many people as you can. The comp scene. I mean,
Yep.
everyone always talks about Asia and stuff, but I mean, people forget about LATAM and how many
Yeah, like
great
Brazil,
LATAM
especially.
players we have. Like
Mhm.
in Brazil as well. Like some of the best Smite players ever in esports from South America, and
Yep.
just imagine if they had a whole comp scene up until now, like grinding and like competing at worlds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why did they take away those leagues?
I think the
It's like not
relationship they
financially?
had, they were doing it with this company called Level Up.
Oh, I remember
They
that.
would run
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Brazil scene. I'm pretty sure they just ran into issues with them or something, and then eventually they
Gotcha.
just made a NA in EU.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when
Oh
Riot
yeah, what
originally.
Rose said is also true as well. Finding good international tournament organizers is just like finding good esports orgs. Can be, and was at times super rough.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah, I mean, like for us, it's easier to say than
Yeah.
like it is in practice for sure. It's the same with like everything we've mentioned, right? Like marketing as well and all that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really easy to armchair like, why don't they just do this? But
Yeah. Just send the servers on there,
but yeah, I really think that leaning into like, I think South America more than any region personally, like,
Yeah, South
'cause
America
you
is very important.
you already have players who love the game and they still play it to this day, but they probably just don't feel as supported as they should.
Yeah.
I think Asia would be really tough. I mean,
Yeah. Probably pretty hard, but I mean, maybe you could get like Korea and like maybe Japan or something, and like I'm not sure how the China thing will work with like Tencent and all that. I literally have no clue.
yeah, I don't think any of us will ever have a clue on that
Yeah,
stuff.
but
Anything that
hopefully they
makes
at least
some.
have servers. Like hopefully they at least have servers there. Like
Yeah, I think getting other servers up would be huge. I know they have it in custom games, right? You can play like LATAM and Asian servers.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can do LATAM
But I
actual,
think they
right?
should just. Oh, you can. Okay, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think they need more servers for people to
Yeah,
queue into.
you can queue Japan and Latin America
But
South
also,
and Brazil.
you don't want empty servers either. That has to be like
Yeah.
a demand for it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Also, as someone said, China was always 2 months behind in patches.
Oh, yeah, I remember
that.
that.
Shit was fucked up. Yeah, that shit
So
was
that's
like,
why I don't know how you fix that issue, because I don't think Smite will ever have a big enough like control, I guess, in Asia to fix those kind of issues. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean,
that's more
is that
like,
really like a fundamental issue? Like, can't it like? I mean,
I
what's
think it
like?
is because it
What's
was
the
on
bottleneck?
Tencent side, surely, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah,
I mean, how did Riot do it? Because Riot at the beginning with League, they just said
Tencent
like,
owns Riot, right? They just
Oh, yeah.
bought it back in the day.
how does
Well,
like
slice of share of it.
how does like Dota do it then? Like how do other games do it?
Why? I'd assume because Valve is just that big, they kind of have like
Yeah.
they just have Steam to push any game they make, right?
True.
Mhm. Yep.
But I mean, I guess any way to make it as competitive as possible in all those regions, I think is best.
I think as good as like I loved the way SPL was in terms of like the actual like I think LAN leagues are insane, and I think they have so much upside as long as you have multiple of them. But obviously that's like a pipe dream. Like imagine having like a LAN league in every region. And
I mean, Overwatch even tried that.
Yeah, it's just too difficult and too expensive, especially when the game is not, it doesn't have millions of players, and it's just not worth it. So I think trying to make it as open as you can and give every region equal support. Like, you definitely don't want to start having like not favoritism, but like more attention on like NA than anyone else, or like more attention on NA and EU than the other regions. Like, I think you just have to try and avoid that, and like, you know, try and promote like a healthy, organic, equal scene where any region has a chance. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys got anything else with esports?
No, I just think, like we said, it's just really early to.
Yeah, it's very early.
Like I think they have a really tough job with esports, just because like they kind of have to wait for the game to be ready before they can all in it, or like do some crazy tournaments for it. So
and also, it's also just so far in the future. There's so many things that could happen and could change.
I definitely like understand why like hasn't been easy for them to kick it off yet for Smite 2, because I mean they're waiting like us, kind of.
Yeah.
I also have a question. So like, Nika, did you play when there was like no like LAN league? It was like you did, right?
Yeah, I played in season 3 onwards. So I played when it was just like the big leagues in NA and EU and like the other regions
like,
as well.
There was like big tournament pricing, right? Was there like salaries or?
There wasn't salaries, but there was like split pricing, and like orgs would give you like a little bit of money. Like the first org I was on was Sanguine, and we got like a couple hundred a month, but we were also the bottom team.
Yeah.
So like, but if you did qualify, like I remember the first LAN we qualified to was Super Regionals. We got like a massive appearance fee each, and then you obviously, like, if you do well at the Super Regional qualifiers, you get even more money. So it was just really rewarding to be good and do better.
Yeah.
Like,
but like,
so it was pretty good.
Do you think it'd be like sustainable for like to have like an entire league if like let's say you don't make enough money to like have a living, right? Like, how do you expect people to like to play in that? Like, because like I've never really played in that. Like
you just need a younger set of players who aren't chasing like a living already. You know.
Gotcha.
It's also
like yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's also online is a lot easier to deal with that. Having it as the LAN just makes it so much more expensive. You have to find a new house, but like having online, live wherever you want, find a cheap place, live with your parents, whatever it is. It's a lot cheaper to live off of, like, I don't know, $500 a month when you're able to, when you're younger, obviously. When you're turning like high 20s, 30s, it's harder.
I was 15 turning 16 when I got into the pro scene. So I was still at school. I didn't have to like work or anything, luckily. So for me, it was just fun, right? And I think that's how you want most of the league to be, like kind of on the younger side, who can commit time or do it kind of as a part-time thing alongside school, or like a part-time job. And you know, slowly as the scene grows and the game grows,
100%.
then you can think about like, okay, how do we provide a living for our top players? Because like if you do it from the start, then it's gonna kind of create like laziness in the scene, kind of how we had near the end of Smite. It's hard to deny that, like,
makes
sense,
sense,
like not all of us, you know, I wouldn't call any of us lazy. Like, we all tried and made content and like showed up and all that stuff, but there was definitely some players who, and I'm not saying coasted, but coasted through the league. I know that sounds bad because I said
coasted?
No, not coast.
Wait, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
He's in my chat, so he's gonna react to it. Let's see.
Nah, yeah, there was there were some players that coasted. There's definitely some. Yeah. I really have nothing else with esports. I kind of want to talk about like Smite 2 and what you guys kind of want from Smite 2, and just talk about like all those things, because there is quite a few differences between Smite 1 and Smite 2. Obviously, the new engine, the new systems, the shop, the relic system or relic slots, intelligence, strengths. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on those so far? Do you like the changes? Do you guys not like them?
I like intelligence. Yeah.
I like the addition of new systems. I think
Me too.
The thing is, like, the systems that they've added kind of make the game more try-hard, like, even if it's at a very basic level. Like, when it's more fleshed out and when the game is more ready for just, like, diving into all that stuff in depth, like, it's just going to be a lot more fun, right? Like, just think about how creative they could get with the intelligence and strength stuff when they don't have to worry about performance or how the map looks or how many gods they have in the game. Or, like, think about how fun it's going to be when they can, you know, create really fun items with, and like you can calculate your stat efficiency per item and make builds like that, you know. Like, I think Smite's had a lot of issues, Smite 1 anyway, in my opinion, with like builds actually just being the same every year. Not like all 6 items, but you know that there was a lot of stuff that stayed the same because building was never like a very big part of Smite, like in terms of knowledge. And I think it's fine to add like extra depth to that, because as a new player, like both systems are still going to be hard to you. Like for a new player, a MOBA by default is just a really hard genre.
Yep.
So I think you should try and make the game as fun and detailed as you can for your core player base, so they can enjoy it and they can, you know, get smarter in the game and like dive deeper into the MOBA genre, and it'll just lead to more MOBA players being interested in it if the game has just like more depth to it. One thing I don't like is definitely how they're doing relics right now. I have like 2 takes on it, where it's like I don't really like how they're backtracking a little bit with the relics. Like they're adding more and more. You know, I think if that's something they wanted to go with initially and they kind of built the game around it, then I think it would have been cool to just stick with it and people will adapt. But now I think they're kind of trying to do 2 things at once, which is probably splitting people's opinions. Like, some people want more relics, they want just every relic back. Some people like only want combat blink, and it's like the more you buy into what your community wants, like the less control you have, I feel like, of the actual game you're developing, and it kind of goes away from the core ideas that they like told us, right?
Yeah.
So I think they have to be careful with how much old stuff they try and bring back.
100%.
Sure.
Because those same people who want the old stuff back in a couple months will probably complain that the old stuff is boring because it wasn't Smite.
Yeah, definitely. Yep, for sure.
I think like I'm glad you brought this up, because I think Smite 2 allows hires to kind of just do whatever they think is the most exciting. They made Smite 1. Smite 1 has kind of run its course. It's coming to its end. This is kind of like their time to kind of do what they want. I think that they are 100% buying in too much to like the demands of the community. I think the game that they brought us before they made a lot of those changes, I think was really interesting. I loved the int and strength. I like those changes. I mean, those specifically didn't do too much, but it makes it different than Smite 1's physical and magical power, because gods can build all of them. So I think that's a good change. I think the only having one permanent, is it called a relic? The one permanent relic, I think.
It's like a utility slot.
Yeah, I like that. The utility slot, I like that. I do wish that it was just combat blink or just beads, whatever is this one relic that they're building around. I like that.
Yeah, I actually agree with you.
And then I also like the shop that they're changing it from, because my biggest complaint always in Smite 1 was that builds were boring, and most of the time items dictated the games less than the gods did. It's like, who can abuse Glad Shield the most? Who can abuse
100%.
Devs the most? Who can abuse Trans the most? And it made, or what's the other one? Jotuns. It's like, who can abuse those items? I think with this new like active shop where your items actually have more benefits beyond just stats and passives, you have actives. It's like, well, now this opens up a god that, you know, doesn't have that early game movement, and now it can go like an early blink or something like that. And it makes gods less reliant on the items, and it makes gods themselves stand out more. And I think it makes balance even easier than it did in Smite 1. So I hope that they don't go too far back into Smite 1, especially with the items and like how the shop works, because I really like where they're going so far with that.
Yeah, I also think that I mean, I do agree with everyone. Like, there's some things I just straight up agree with, where like the game needs some form of Aegis, the game needs some form of CC immunity, just because of how the gods are, right? Like, it's a lot more effort to remove or like reduce the CC and reduce the damage than it is to just implement ways to counter it. So I think that if they do want to just keep adding relics, I think it'll be fine. I think there's enough alternate systems that'll keep the game fresh. But I think they could also just have like the blink beads choice and just have like strong like item options for carries to deal with like getting one shot or like tanks diving them and stuff like that. Kind of like how League has it, right? Like it's obviously a very different game, like completely different game. But I mean, they've managed to survive with no real safety relics other than a blink, you know?
Yeah.
I think it does make the game a lot more fun. But that's also very subjective. So.
Yeah, a lot of it is subjective, and I agree that leagues kind of lived on it. It is a different game, but like even with like Aegis probably needs to exist, but I think it's pretty easy to add an Aegis into Smite via an active system, or add some form of survivability into an item system, not an active system, through like an item, like something that increases your damage by, I don't know, 10%, and also gives you a little bit of attack speed, and then it gives you this active that makes you immune to damage. Like there's ways to tinker with it, and I think that they shouldn't go too far into, like, I guess I don't hate the idea of having a bunch of relics. That's not like the end of the world. The one thing that I really just don't want them to change is the item shop. I just think how they have this new item shop is so much better than Smite 1's.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I like it personally too. Yeah, I think some people don't like it.
It's just different, which is why they don't.
Like it, because like even if it's different, you can still use it the same as before. Like you can just like, I want this tier 3. Okay, I'm just gonna keep clicking it until I get it.
Yeah, that's honestly what I did in the tournament. You just had double click. I feel like I'm not sure what people like. I feel like people like suck themselves out and it gets like way more difficult. Yeah,
it's the same with the int scaling and stuff as well. It really is simple if you just take a little bit of time to read it. It's just because it's a new system in a game that isn't really that try hard and like in depth. I feel like it's just a little scary. I think for newer players, and that's fine. That's where you need to provide like better resources for newer players, like understand the difference. And I think they'll have that when the game is out. But like obviously this is just a testing phase, so there isn't really time to teach people like without teaching themselves.
Yeah. Is there anything you guys want them to bring over from Smite 1 to Smite 2? Items, relics, gods that you want them to rush over that you think just need to be in the game ASAP?
I think they should bring a lot of items over. I think there's nothing wrong with bringing back or bringing over a ton of like loved items from over the years, because one, it'll just bulk up the shop right now, and give them more time to work on like new creative items down the line. Two, it's just like it's a comfort thing as well for a lot of people, and play styles on gods as well. Even if it's a new game, you're still gonna want to play some gods the same way, or try to. And like having options that enable that before will just make a lot of players happier for sure. Like for tanks, it's like Pridwin, like Archdruids has been really fun over the last few years.
Binding.
Binding. I think Spikes is also a really fun item.
And they can make it better.
More consistently.
Yeah, Smite 1's spikes are so bad.
So that's just a few like tank items, but like obviously there's gonna be like, I think Fail Not's a good example of like, now especially you can buy it on Assassins as well. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
In Smite 1, like
some items. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay.
Nice guy battle. I think like there's another bonus where like these items, you don't need to have like conditional like proccing. You just press the button, right? So like you have like Erendite, you could just press 1 or something, and
True.
it'll work.
Actually.
Or like Pridwin, you just press 2, and then boom, you get the shield. You can probably make more plays like, because like there are some gods that Pridwin does like pretty shit on. Like
Ardio.
I don't know. Yeah, like Ardio. Like you just go fucking Pridwin, Smite 2 Ardio, and then you just press 1, pop the shield whenever you want, instead of like when you stand swap.
Trying to stand swap at the correct time as you're diving the backline. Can't use it. Yeah, no, I think that, and I really don't think that there's a downside to bringing over some of the items just as is. Like, does Pridwin have to be usable by RDO? I mean, not really. They could bring it over as is, cooldown, a little bit of protections of each, and just a shield on ult. Like, not everything that they bring over, I think, has to be an active. Yeah. There should be some passive items.
What Haddock said is change for change's sake is not interesting or fun. It's just new and can easily show itself to be worse later on. And I do agree with that. So
for some things, for sure.
Like, I think it's important for the game to have new systems and like new ways to use these items and interact with the map. But I do also agree that like you can't just like change everything. And I think changing the gods is a bigger thing than any other system.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially with how early on the game is, like it's really important for the items and builds to be fun, especially because like I think
sure.
Smite 1 has a lot of really fun builds you can do right now.
Yeah, Smite items are so lame.
I think there's nothing wrong with bringing some of those over just to like kind of like fill the gap until they can really focus on getting creative with those.
And if they're ass, like it's not like the game is in a competitive state right now. If the item's ass, remove it after a patch or two. See how it works, see how it changes the game, see how it changes the meta.
I'd assume a lot of the items we have now won't make it to like the full game, because some of them they just seem very like placeholder just to be there, you know.
In Smite 2? Yeah, for sure.
Also, Haddix mentioned that they wanted to replace starters with aspects when it's clearly just a worse system.
Yeah, aspects are horrible.
I thought aspects were just like the shards, like
they were like really blessings.
Yeah, they were more like recipes or blessings, like
and they were bad. I hated blessings. I hated recipes.
I hated blessings.
Starter items are awesome.
Yeah, I think starters are like something that I wouldn't want removed from the game. But I also, what they wanted was just like builds to just have 6 full items, right? Like they just want you to, like they want it to be that way, and I think that's fine. But the game definitely needs like starters for early game.
Yeah,
because without it, like everyone is a headless chicken, man.
We're
just running around with like 5 strength with no like direction, you know. Especially if you're new, like if you're new, the game is just gonna be so much harder to pick up, because like nothing indicates where you have like what you do as a role, or like what you do as a character. I think it's fine not to have upgradable starters, even though I think they're like actually the most fun items in Smite
100%.
But that's also just because that's how they wanted to design the game, right? Like that was the intention. So if they want to go away from that and, you know, get more creative with the other options, and I think they will over time, that's fine. But I think they should have like a middle ground for sure. With I kind of like how League has it, right? Like Doran's shield, Doran's blade, like they just have very basic starters to like carry the game.
They have like AD, AP, tank,
the ring,
jungle,
supports,
and those are and then support. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, I think jungle and support are the most like vital ones, because like they are genuinely the most important roles, and the most where your hand needs to be held early game as a new player. And if you don't have systems that help people learn those roles or know how to play them, like it's just gonna cause chaos. Like I've seen some crazy things in my games just because people don't know how they're meant to like play the role, you know. That's all their fault.
And I do think there's an option for Hi-Rez to add just the super basic starter items, and then those upgraded starters can just be made into full items. Like, they would obviously have to be balanced as, like, some of the items getting them early, like Gemma Focus getting it early. I mean, I guess that's already a full item, but Death's Temper, Death's Toll.
Come up with new starters for sure, like for some roles.
Definitely.
Well, I mean, like, they just have, like, the tier 1 starters, just the super simple solo, mid, or, like, AD, AP, tank, so on and so forth, and then the full-blown starters are just new items in Smite.
I would like that too. I think
that's pretty easy.
That'd be the most fun. Like, imagine you could go like you could rush, like, let's say you rush Axe, right? Let's say you're solo lane. You use rush Axe tier 1, and then you can go Bumba's Hammer, second item. Like it's an actual item, but it's like more balanced and like, you know, like it's like less OP. Like every starter is more balanced towards like being an actual item. It'd be so much fun just to rush like a starter item.
The one thing I didn't like about starters, but like it was a balancing point of it too, was that you could only buy one. Like, I hate.
Yeah.
I guess I don't. I shouldn't say I hate.
Be able to buy multiple starters.
That'd be sick.
Okay, I don't like some. Obviously, some of them would be broken, but like you'd have to like balance some of them. Like having Acts of Animosity and Death's Toll or Death's Embrace is gonna be OP. But
you guys, I agree with what Haddix said, where it's like that's what makes starters fun. Boombas will never be a balanced T3. You need to wait until level 20 to get such a powerful item. I agree with that. I think if you're gonna have starters, they need to be like.
But who says it can't level like per level?
You want it to level per level?
So I said that weird. Like the passive upgrades every level you get.
Like,
yeah.
Cool.
Like you buy Boombas at level 1, it's like a 0.1 second off, and you get like a 10 health heal or something like that. And then every level you get, it's an extra 2 health and 0.05 seconds or something like that. Obviously, it makes it a little bit more convoluted, but I don't think it makes it that much more difficult. It just makes their balance formula have to kind of change a little bit. But I mean, like again, I don't hate it. I don't. We can still keep it with the normal starters.
Then it's not even a starter, you know. Then it's just a normal item, which.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was kind of saying. Is I'm just making them those starters normal items. Just fuck. I think I've confused it. there's 5 starter items, quote unquote, and then there's the old Smite 1 finished starter items that are just new items in Smite 2. I think that's a better way to explain it.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
Wait, Haddix, you want to get in cool?
Yeah, tell him to join Discord.
So he can just join if he wants.
I also think having the Smite 1 starter system is fine too. Like, either is fine. I think either is better. I mean, I think probably having the Smite 1 starter item system is probably just, like, the best. Because, like, yeah, it's, like, tried and true. Like, it's already tested. It's already loved by many, so...
I gotta invite him.
Are you sending it, or do you need me to?
I guess you can. It's your server, boss.
I quite just, yeah.
I DM'd you, Haddix.
3 solo laners in cool, let's do.
Wait, this is actually fucked.
Wait, Bobby, aren't you a solo laner?
True. Dude,
hey,
you're actually a fake support. You're a solo laner.
I'm back. I'm back. That was my first role I played. All right, what's up?
Yo.
Dude, I had to like select TFT and shit. What is that?
Oh yeah, fuck. Forgot about that.
Dude, your Discord is crazy. Like, what is all this?
I just had one of my mods do it, and he's just like he loves this, and I was like, sure, yeah, I'm down. Let's get this going. But
Okay,
what did you want to see with items, Haddix?
So about the starters is that if you're saying that you want to have starters as a tier 3, it's not going to happen because you're going to have the items. So like, let's say Bombus Hammer, right? It's going to be gutted down to where it's not even a fun item anymore for like what you're used to having fun with. The reason why you have so much fun with Bombus Hammer is because it's so broken, because you can wait. You have to wait until level 20 to have it. So if you make it a viable tier 3, it's not going to be anywhere near as fun. And the other thing about that is that I don't understand, like there's systems, to me at least, which would be relics and starters. Those are like the core identity of Smite, and removing that removes the identity. And if you also want to change that a lot, then I don't really see the point, because they've been proven to be such successful systems that people enjoy. Like, let's say starters, why would you want to vastly change starters when you can just improve on it? You could look at starters that people don't find interesting or they don't find fun. Like, there are definitely starters like that, and just replace those and keep the fun ones. So there's like Brooch, people love Brooch, or Bumba's Hammer. There's items that people really like. So just remove the lame ones and keep the system in place that people already really enjoy. I don't see a reason to like fix what's not broken.
No, I definitely agree with that for sure. I just think it'd be fun to get the fun on sooner. You know what I mean? Like, to get the fun, get the party going.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
Well,
if you don't have to wait
can make it fun.
20.
I mean,
I think you could pretty easily balance it, but I do get what you're saying with.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
You
if
can
they're
not make
balanced,
you can for sure balance it.
if they're balanced, then they're just boring.
No,
right?
no, no. Like, if you make it,
Bumba's Hammer,
scale it per level.
Bumba's Hammer is OP, right?
Yeah, but if you scale it per level.
20. But then it's not as fun.
I mean, I want to see.
Well, it'll be fun.
I want to see Bumba just like fully like in Smite 2 as an item, like an expensive ass item. Like, I feel like maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe it wouldn't be that broken.
Well, yeah,
you're playing with fire. What you're doing is
that, then it can't be started.
Like, every role has broken ass items.
So by doing that, you are playing with fire. You're taking a concept that people really enjoy, that is successful and feels satisfying and fun, and you want to change it to like be a better system when it's already a good system. If you fuck it up, then you've ruined something that people enjoy and is satisfying and is already working.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. I'm just saying it'd be cool to experiment.
But why would you?
But I do agree. I'm also fine. I'm fine with either. I'm fine with having the Smite 1 system. I'm fine with the starters upgrading. I'm fine with that. Like, I think that's like the best case to go. Like, I think that's like the easiest route, because like people, it's like tried and true. People like it.
I think
you're trying to take something that's already working.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to do anything.
Your idea right now.
I'm down for both. I'm just saying, Bobby's idea sounded interesting, but I'm also fine with just starters.
My idea is meant to be still, like, I don't disagree that starters are fun, but I think being too safe with some things is also true. I think there is a world where these starters in Smite 1, where you can't buy more than one, bring them to Smite 2, allow them to build more than one. There is an amount of fun that can be had having a combination of a few of these starters. And if you say, well, then the item's either going to be dumbed down or it's not going to be nearly as fun, scaling it per level is a very easy way to do that. If you make Bumba's Hammer a horrible level 1 item, as you get 1 health back every auto weaved in or something like that, and it scales up all the way to, I don't know what the current stats are, but at level 20 it scales back up to half a second off your cooldowns, 70 true damage, 80 heal, whatever it is. That is a pretty easy way to balance it instead of just only making it level 1.
I mean, I just saw that Gemma Focus in Smite 2 is really fun.
Like point,
really
0.05 of your cooldowns.
Yeah, to
really
make it
in Smite 2. I think that's a really fun item.
It's to balance it. It's because you're worried that the item is going to be really OP level 1. That would make it a not level 1 item.
He's saying that it's not going to be like the whole point of something like Bumba's Hammer is it's like the payoff of getting to 20, you're getting this broken power spike.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's turned into an item you can have throughout the whole game, it can never be that dopamine pumping super item. It's just like another item in the shop.
But it would be that same item level 20. It would just slowly ramp up if you bought it early. There's like a break point when the item becomes worth it.
You can make the same item, honestly. Like
the other thing though is why are you guys trying to fix something that's already successful, and why not fix the things that are not working? Like you're playing with fire where you could take a good concept. Yeah, you're taking a good concept and you can make it worse when it's already good instead of fixing the bad things.
I mean, I think there's
things like across the entire game. I mean, it's like different. Like
there's so many bad things that you could put your attention to first rather than
we've been talking for like an hour. I mean, we're it's just part of the discussion. I mean, we gotta talk about everything. We're just like talking about this. I mean, it's not like I'm saying here Hyra should focus, changing the starter items like instead of like fixing the game. I'm just saying
talking about it does kind of like.
Alright, then let's move on then. Let's talk about something else. What we talk about then? Yeah, let's move on then. Okay,
wait.
We're done then.
Okay.
Haddock's thinks this is worthless, so we should stop talking about star items because it's.
Well, no, you can talk about star items, but you're saying that if you are talking about then that's kind of the point, right? Is that you want it to change, right?
I don't want to change. I'm fine.
No, Hyra's wanted to change, so.
Yeah, I mean they want to change. Hyra's want to change. Bobby pitched an idea. I thought Bobby's idea would be interesting.
Well, would you guys let's start with this. Would you guys agree that hitting level 20 and upgrading your starter and getting your biggest spike in the game is one of the more rewarding parts of the game?
It's the only rewarding thing in the game.
Yeah,
it makes you look forward to getting level 20, right? And like so.
Yeah. But you can also argue that
I also enjoyed season 1.
It's not great that there's only one like really fun part of your build.
Yeah.
I just love all the starter items and I want all of them in the game. And I liked in season 1, 2, 3, and 4 and all that, where you could like buy multiple starters. You go like Bumba's and Bluestone, or like Mark of the Vanguard and Bluestone, or whatever. I think that was pretty fun, and I think it'd be fun to incorporate like those starters, and then you have like the actual like really fun doping items that you could just go the entire game. Like imagine I just like for example, Smite 2. I'm not saying I don't. I'm saying I'm fine with it, but I'm also fine with having non-upgradable starters, just basic starters. And then you have like the upgraded starters in Smite 1 in the game, like how they have.
You just want them to be like actual items, right?
Yeah, actual items, but the same functionality and the same like they're so good. I don't want to ruin their fun. Like Gemma Focus in Smite 2,
more expensive, but just
yeah. Because in Smite 2, Gemma Focus is very fun to build. Like if you build Gemma Focus,
it's a lot weaker too. But it's like they just weakened the.
They just say it's a lot weaker.
Yeah,
well, it is. No, it's just outright weaker. Because it's only movement speed and it's power and it's MP5. You're losing out on the % damage increase. It's a weaker item.
It is % damage increase, right?
No, not Smite 2. It gives you intelligence and moon speed, but it's still fun.
No, I mean I wasn't trying to say that it's like a boring item now. I was just trying to say they had to bring like the power level of it down a little bit. But I think that there's not like like if you're buying the Gemma Focus in Smite 2, you're still getting like the payoff of like the value of like the fun part of Gemma Focus. The extra damage increase isn't like the massive dopamine. Like your damage is going up, awesome, but it's like that movement speed that feels really good. And I think with some items there's an opportunity to do that. With some items it's going to be hard. It would be hard to balance, and it's obviously not like the most. It's not the most needed changes as like. Yeah, I think the map is probably the worst thing for Smite 2. I think the map is so bad.
But I think imagine
if you could build timeline. Imagine if you could build timeline on Zeus. Like let's say you're Paul, right? Fuck it, I'm going timeline first item. and that's like your strat. It's like the 5-minute cooldown or something, and you just rush timeline. I feel like it can kind of like take the dopamine that you get from upgrading your starter, but you get it early, so you have more fun across the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it'll end up if the game's builds like stay how it is now, right? Like that's kind of the change they went to. They don't want starters, like
yeah,
but they might change that because of the backlash.
Yeah,
I mean, I think at minimum they need like early game starters that you replace. But I also do agree that upgrading the starters has been the best part of Smite 1, and they've been the most interesting items for the most part. Other than like, I mean, as a solo laner, like Pridwin has always been up there as like peak fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a massive risk if you just completely scrap the system, and even more importantly, if you can't replace that system with more fun items. And I think that's probably a massive issue in these alpha tests.
Yeah.
Which is why this is such a big talking point in general, because like people are never going to enjoy having no starters if the items they're building are like such boring effects, you know, or just
for sure,
just straight up like stat sticks and stuff like that. Just not something that has ever been fun in Smite.
Yeah. Sadly, the items in the starters have a massive downgrade in Smite 2. But I think it can be fun. Like once if they add in some starters, I think it'll be super fun. And like, I'm totally 100% down for like the Smite 1 system where you get your starter, then you upgrade it at level 20. That shit is fun. I'm down for that.
I think overall, they just need more fun items in Smite 2. I think a lot of the items, you don't feel like you're getting like that fun change. Like even as like a solo laner, getting like Glad Shield, it's like a small change, but it's like you're getting more damage in your build. The numbers going up. Old Glad Shield you're sustaining, or current Phoenix Shield you're sustaining. There are like certain steps, and I think a lot of the items in Smite 2 are pretty boring. So I would like them to add some more exciting items that either it's starters, whether it's just normal items in the vein of Smite 1 starters, just something more exciting. Yeah, so items out of the way. What are you guys' thoughts about the map? Because this is the one that I really don't like.
Yeah, I mean, the map is very, very underwhelming so far, and I'm pretty sure they're aware of it, and we'll have a lot of new stuff on the map by the time we next play it. The map just felt really empty, and the stuff they removed and replaced, like just hasn't hit. You know, like Warhorn, I think is very, very boring right now. Personally,
Yep.
I think the teleport pads
do
are
you like Warhorn Headaches?
Unusable because they're just like on the outside of the map. And then I actually do like the way the buffs level up. I just think it took them a while to like make it feel better, and it kind of does now on the most recent test.
Not dropping level 1 was criminal. That felt so weird.
Level 1 was really bad, especially for the jungler. But now they adjusted that pretty quickly, and I think it's pretty good. But I just think as a player right now, like if you're playing a bunch of Smite 1 and you go to 2, you just feel the buffs a lot less because we're just so used to like the Tiki system and how smooth it feels.
Oh,
to, like,
dude, they should. The Tiki system is awesome.
Tiki's is fire, bro.
That is such an awesome system.
I think that's a lot of stuff from Smite 1 in terms of like stuff that people have loved on the map that they could like bring back, not just straight up copy, but like implement in their own new ways. Like I think Coup has been like very impactful and stuff, but I wouldn't want to like directly copy it over to Smite 2. But I
do you
think,
like the gold? Do you like those gold things?
The gold pads.
Yeah.
No, they're terrible.
Okay.
I think gold.
They're so bad.
I don't think any neutral objective should be so like uncontested or whatever. You know, like
you should
have to fight over something or control something like actively to be rewarded. Like
maybe like King of the Hill or something.
I shouldn't be able to just like press on something, like and just get it. You know, like without like actually committing time to it. Like, you know, with most coups, like you'd have to fight over it, or like there would be matchup implications and stuff like that. But with a Warhorn, it's just like I clicked it, now I clicked it, now I clicked it, and I just don't really. I feel like it really just takes away from the fun of like an actual laning phase, like objective to play over.
I think the buff to it also feels weirder than the move or the mana and movement speed from Totem. Like buffing your minions.
Like buffing the wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really something that you
impactful.
feel as like an actual player on the map, right? Like it happens, and it's definitely strong, right? Because like anytime your wave is stronger, like it gives you an extra opportunity to like do something with it. But like if it just buffed you in some way, or like I don't know, maybe they could do something with the teleport pads, but I don't know if I'm a big fan of like
it's weird.
those even being in the game.
I don't like them either.
I feel like the Smite 1 teleporter is sick. Like there's so many plays you can do with that shit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, what if like getting the Warhorn let you TP use the teleport pad to the other side or something?
That'd be fire.
Yeah, I like that more.
Might be kind of OP though, like, but maybe it should be OP. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
wait,
I definitely think the interact button and like just the gold pads, but they already removed most of those, which is fine.
Yeah.
You don't like the teleporter
and the
or the horn?
Yeah, I don't like.
What do you think about the horn, Nathan?
I think the horn is.
When you like, are you horny or?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh shit, you're a fan of the horn.
I think the horn's concept is like kind of lackluster, but the actual like buff is good because totem disappears at 15 minutes, and MP5 becomes useless once people start getting MP5 in their build.
Yeah, for sure.
The Warren is definitely like going to be impactful for like sieging at like all points of the game or pressure in lanes at all points of the game. Like if there was comp right now, Warhorn would be OP and it'd be probably even more OP than
it is OP.
I just think it's too slow of an objective to like contest.
I think it's OP but uninteresting basically.
Yeah,
it's also weird. You like walk in and just interact with it, and
it is weird to like
the interact
press spacebar.
Lame.
I hate the whole interact button, bro. Like it just does not feel smooth to like.
Yeah, do you guys think it's worse to pick up buffs with interact than just walking?
Yes, it's not even close.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the majority.
Yep.
Dude, I also have to change my key bindings and shit to have like an interactive button.
At least no motherfucker's gonna steal my buff.
What about the fire giant wall that you can?
I feel like that one is actually like kind of cool, but I'm not sure how.
When are you gonna use that?
Yeah, how often are you actually gonna use it?
When are you?
I mean, I used it once in a casual game to steal FG, but like I'm against medium AI.
But wouldn't you should always have that spot warded, so like you're gonna see them go open the door and they're just gonna take 10% of their damage for their health, and you're just gonna kill them.
It was faster, maybe. It's kind of slow.
It also, it also has to like open instead of just like walking around.
If it was instant, it'd probably be better, honestly.
Yeah.
I just think the interact is like they tried something new and it just hasn't really hit, and there isn't really like a reason to have it yet. So I think it's like probably fine to drop it and just add that key to something else that like people want.
Also, if I'm jumping,
ward slots or something.
If I'm like spam jumping and it just sucks, like I like start interacting with like if I'm like walking by fire jump, I'm spam jumping and I just like start interacting. I'm like I put my hand out, fucking using the force on some random thing, and it's just like kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's also.
What do you guys think about the side jungles where like the teleporters are? Because I think that they should have the side jungles cut off, like in front of tier 1, like so it should be wider than they are currently on Smite 1, but there's so much unused space where like there's like nothing going on back there, and I think being able to walk behind the tier 1 is kind of weird on the side jungle.
If they tracked like a heat map of how often players go out there, it's like it's probably
I'm always in there, bro.
Near invisible.
But now imagine we have someone like Autospeed or
stop it.
We have a dragon story. Okay, they're gonna.
I'm good. I don't want that timeline.
they're gonna clear the wave and they're gonna walk through that side jungle and go proxy every single time.
You're gonna have to guess which way they're going.
And then there's 2 paths where they get to juke and PvE and proxy.
Yeah, fuck no.
I think it should just be something.
Being able to walk behind the tier 1 like that is just.
Yeah. Do you guys remember how the Droga pit was? Like
I loved that.
Side?
I actually loved that.
I think that kind of shape to both sides, and like then having something in that area, like whether it's they want to keep the teleport or whatever, like I'm not sure. But like have like what Haddock said, where it doesn't let you go through the other towers. Like it's just the best way to do it, right? Like. It allows it to be a more neutral territory where like
it's more so like outplay for when you're getting ganked. Like
for sure.
The current pit in Smite 1, you have a lot of like solo, and like if you're a solo, you have a lot of potential to like outplay and juke around the walls, and you have more room to maneuver rather than just, like getting ganked in lane and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the teleport.
You can kind of do that in Smite 2, but
the teleport pads feel really like placeholder for sure. Personally.
They're in
Like,
horrible
one.
spots too.
Wait,
yeah, they're
one
just
or
way
You
out of the
have to walk so far out of your way to get to the teleport, and then you have to hold it down.
Then you have to click
You have to
it, yeah, and
interact.
Hit the
also,
interact
you can't
button.
teleport in combat. I feel like teleporting like the teleport in Smite 1, you can like you can make
Yeah,
so many plays
Yeah,
around
the
it.
Oh,
Smite
Like,
one
I love
teleporter
that.
is so sick. I
Yeah.
love that you can fight on it. There's characters where you like the Thor hammer thing.
yeah, the
like,
Milan 3. Yeah.
yeah,
Smite
there's
one
just
teleporter might just be peak, honestly.
yeah.
Might be.
That might be.
Especially compared to the Smite 2 teleporters.
There's just so much you can do with it and so much outplay potential with it. And it feels like it just feels perfect. Like it doesn't take too
Yeah.
long. If it
It's not-
takes a decent,
Yeah.
like a good amount of time.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
it
too
puts-
early in the game
and it
too.
puts you in the middle of whatever lane you're going to, right? Like you don't have to run from like the top of the lane to the bottom or anything. Like you just get to spawn in the middle and instantly make your decision. Like
There's a lot
Yeah.
of risk with
Yeah,
going through as
yeah,
well
like-
because everyone sees you, they hear you, everyone
Yeah.
knows you're
Yeah,
coming.
whereas with these
and you
teleporters,
can
it's-
silent
yeah.
gank and you can spawn in a side jungle where you can just like never get punished for it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's crazy how well they executed that teleporter. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't very
I
buggy.
agree.
Like it made sense. Like they literally had to do no updates to it. I don't think afterwards after launch, and like I feel like it's just such a
it's
great
one of the
mechanic.
best map additions in history, I
100%.
think, personally.
I like that
I
it
talked about
starts
the
as a
map
camp
for a
too.
while. What do you guys think about like having objectives to fight over? Did you guys talk about that while I was gone?
What
No,
kind of
not yet.
objectives,
We
like-
haven't.
No,
So,
we
like,
haven't
just-
objected
so, like,
yet.
so like let's say in solo, right, you have the cooldown buff. In duo, you have the prop buff. In mid, you have beacon. And then in Smite 2, currently like there's like a lot of objectives or like these like fighting points that are lacking. And
Yeah.
let's say the ones that you do have, they're just like not very interesting. Like let's say you win your solo lane pressure, and you get the Warhorn. Like just kind of uninteresting compared to being able to get the CDR buff, which got a lot better when they made it like Chronos Pen.
Yeah,
and
for
now
sure.
it's actually really fun to get that. And then prop buff is obviously really rewarding to get. So I think having like interesting things to get for your pressure is really important. And
Yeah,
actually,
Meteor also kind of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah,
Smite
actually,
just
makes
relies
it
on timers, right? And like having stuff to play around and focus on.
Yeah.
And right now,
Media
like
K
It
was
makes it
also a really
makes
good
it
addition
makes
to
it
having
makes it
something to fight over.
fast paced. Makes it like more fast paced as well. Like I feel like Smite 2 is like way less fast paced. You're just like your main goal is to hit towers, and then to get enough gold to do like Gold Fury or Fire Gen or something. It's just kind of like nothing really to do.
Yeah, I
I
think.
think that I'm
One
really
thing they did
surprised.
do well with Smite 2 is the Gold Fury change. Though.
Yeah, I
That's
was gonna
sick.
say, I'm
Gold Fury is
surprised they
sick.
haven't done more with that stuff and like
Yeah.
add something similar on the like I don't know why we don't have a pyro type objective yet, like before FG spawns, because I think it's just such a good way of keeping the map balanced and having like options for a team to play like either side of the map, like wherever they feel stronger, or like an alternative, like so you don't have to suicide into defending gold or anything like that, you know.
Do you guys?
Yeah.
Do
The
you guys,
bomb-
Did you guys like the? Sorry, go ahead.
The bomb is also so much cooler as like a sieging device than the Warhorn
love
is.
the
Oh, the bomb is sick. The bomb
Like
is
you can
so
actually
much fun.
play around like your own timings instead of like wave is coming now. You either are there and are making use of it, or you're not making any use of it, and
Give
it's
me
just a waste.
UE5 bomb where it's like a grenade and I can toss it.
Chuck it over a wall.
and it insta explodes.
That shit in a catapult, dude. Fucking
Yeah.
love that shit, bro. Like speaking of which, what do you guys think about like the lane pushers? Like not the fucking Titans. I mean, you can talk about the Titans if you want, but like the old like trebuchets, was it?
Oh, that was ass, bro.
I didn't remember that.
Treb.
Oh, in Smite 1?
Yeah. We got
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't
season
like
9
those.
Treb. I think the Treb is just like,
I think they're too
dude, it
slow.
was so lame. Like the winning team, they would just let the Treb poke the Phoenix and like,
Yeah,
Just
you
have
to go to the
yeah,
opposite side.
poke you.
Basically, a free split pusher.
Yeah,
It was.
We had
I
auto
think it was
speed.
really- I think
Bombs are
bombs
definitely
are
a much
like
better concept.
10 times more fun because it actually
Yeah,
forces the
bombs
players
are
to
way
use them
better.
well.
There's also counterplay against the bombs too.
yeah,
where
you can
just-
you can
like-
break it when they drop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
think
do you
the
think
bombs
about,
work
like,
perfect.
What do you think about like the league thing where like they kill the what was it called the
I
fucking
mean, Rift
big
Herald
thing?
is definitely the best
Rift
concept,
Herald?
but like you can't just copy Rift Herald.
Yeah,
You
Rift
can't, you
Herald.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like certain concepts that you can take that are like league
Yeah.
oriented,
Kind of like
let's say
bomb.
bushes or something.
Yeah.
But like you can't just straight yoink the Rift Herald.
I almost
Yeah.
like the Void Grubs as a little split pushing thing, like Pyro, but instead of getting a bomb, you get something that.
I don't know. I don't know what they are. I haven't played this new season.
Oh, it's basically before Rift spawns, there's like a weaker objective there, and the more of them you kill, the more these things pop out when you start hitting towers. So it's basically like a split pusher around you whenever you're hitting the tower.
Sounds kind of lame, I'll be honest.
Dude,
No, but I think in general PvE or split pushing mechanics are very unfun
lame.
for people.
Yeah.
Like even currently right now, like the Bumba Spear that auto speed is doing.
that doesn't happen in EU,
fuck.
luckily.
Yeah, well, just
Yeah,
in
you guys
general,
just get
like,
booted.
Basset, split pushing,
Yeah, we just get
Loki,
lobby crash.
even when like
The
before
Loki too?
backdoor protections, people Loki and
fuck.
Basset and
Nuwa.
Nuwa used to drop the minions and just
Dude,
PvE
that's
split
like a
pushing
diamond, bro.
mechanics should never be rewarded.
I agree.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think bomb's a good like middle ground between like the Rift Herald. Like
Yeah,
it's something you
bombs are
carry
great.
and you drop and does like burst damage to like a tower or like an objective. I think that's kind of like a good
And
a good middle
half
ground.
the,
Bomb is a
half
good
the
thing, but I
value
think there's a chance there could be a better idea than bomb.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Half the value
I
from
love
bomb is also like the after the damage, like it slows the attack speed of it, so it's like now's your time to go in beyond just like you're trying to burst it also.
Yeah. I wish bomb did PvP damage, bro. That'd be lit.
Dude, I tried so hard to be a PvP bomber in season
The
10
Willix ult, dude. The Willix ult off
Yes,
that.
dude, this attack.
Well, none of us here are mid laners, right?
No,
None of you have any of you guys really played that much mid on Smite 2?
I've actually played a little bit.
I still cheat
Yeah.
too.
I think if you look at mid from Smite 1 to Smite 2, it might be like the most downgraded role out of all of them. Like at least like
Yeah,
map wise.
They have nothing to do, man.
Like in
Yeah.
Smite 1, you have red, you have double speeds, you have the
Mid camps,
chest
dude.
camp,
Mid camps
you
have
have
literally
double mid
dictated
camps, you
lane
have
for...
oracles, you have pyro. Like you could literally like they have the most farm and the most like things around them. And now in Smite 2, they have the least around them. So I think it's just really important to have like farm and contestables and objectives. And right now there's a big lack of objectives. Like there's no pyro, there's no BDK, there's no oracles. There's like there needs to be more objectives and more.
It's literally just tower.
Fight over and beacon. I think having a contestable like beacon in mid is very important too because it forces fights for them in mid where otherwise they just AFK farm.
I think it's cool that it's like a timing thing also. It's not like beacon spawns at 10 minutes and then somebody pulls it and then the other one gets it. It's like at 12 minutes this thing is spawning, either be there or the enemy team gets it. It makes it so it's like this is the contesting thing at that time. And I don't think like beacon is cool as what it does, but I think there's like way cooler options that they could have at that spot.
Oh yeah, no, the beacon
sure.
concept is lacking, but the actual like
the spot of it and everything,
of something that forces you to fight is like necessary in my opinion.
Give us like dragon buffs from League on beacon effects.
That'd be cool.
Just like the concept of forcing a fight, but something could be a way better idea in place of beacon.
Do you think they should like do that shit to gold, like, or like add like the dragon effects you could say?
They kind of have, like they
kinda
have
have
getting
it,
multiple furies really relevant, and I think they could do the same with whatever secondary objective I think they will add it eventually.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like they could expand the gold, like add some, add some more effects.
Yeah, I've been giving that feedback even in Smite 1 always. Like, you don't want to copy the exact dragon system, but I think it's
so smart.
I mean, it is such a good system. Like, it just makes every game slightly diverse, and like it makes certain comps stronger than others. Like
another win con.
It's the secondary win con is a huge thing. Because I mean, in Smite, it's always just been EFG. That's it. You just win the game when you get it. If you can get it. And I think having alternate options and like different ways to approach the game like strategically, because that's another super strong objective, is just fun. Like in a MOBA.
Yeah.
Like if I can give up FG because I have like, X amount of stacks on like this other objective, and it's equally as strong in some way, then it just makes the game more fun. Like both teams have different things to worry about when it comes to what they want to contest. Also, someone asked, what do we think about leashing the camps? Like, do you guys prefer it being like?
Leashing should definitely come back, but I don't
I like leashing.
Their AI is really undercooked.
Dog shit.
You've seen the waves.
Some people don't like
waves.
leashing.
I'm
They're working on that, but yeah, I mean, leashing should definitely come back, in my opinion.
I will say I am pretty indifferent towards leashing because nothing felt worse than the enemy team just pulling it under tower and then it's uncontestable. But then it's like the argument is just be there quicker. I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent towards it.
Yeah, I think
the leashing AI where like if you leash it and then the other guy gets aggro of it, like they just pull it forever. Like
that's like a bug. That's like a bug.
Yeah, I can't tell if that's a bug or intended, but like
feels like a bug, but no one really does.
I'm pretty sure that's intended. No,
that shit felt horrible. But like I think leashing is good. I think it, especially if jungling becomes a lot more like, I don't know, like if you need a bit more intelligence to play a jungler, you know, like if you actually have to like have different pathing and stuff like that, which would be cool because Smite 1 always had really boring jungle pathing in my opinion.
100%.
Then leashing just makes it more fun because you can do like League has, right? Like different routes where you leash different camps, like you know, on different sides of the map. And I think that stuff is really cool because again, it just adds easy depth to a MOBA that's kind of like a party game for a lot of people.
I think that the leash range should be the change instead of like how long since you've hit it. I think it'd be a better change, like pulling red buff or sorry, not red buff, pulling purple buff to your purple buff because the enemy team hit it and then you walked in and pulled it all the way back to your spot. I think that is too far. It should be like, I don't know, like at what point it should leash, but how League. Okay, fuck, I hate mentioning League for everything, but like their leash range is cool.
So you mean you want leashing, but just to a certain extent.
Limited, yeah.
I mean, I could agree with that. I think that maybe you should have just because right now, like if you look at Smite 2 and like the old buff camps, so they were in Smite 1, like it's a very small circle that you have to fight in.
Yeah.
And if you don't fight in that circle, then you make the buff heal or whatever. So maybe if you just had leashing to like, not even like out that much outside the circle, but just a bigger area we could actually fight around the buff. And then so they can't drag it under their tower and still get the buff.
I like that more. Yeah. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Because it does feels really weird also on current Smite 2 where you pull it and it's like you pull it on the line and then it just instantly resets, sprints back to its spot, starts healing. And it's like really unforgiving.
Yeah.
Maybe they can have it like
lacking on.
Maybe they can have it like a fast decay. So like let's say you're like if you're walking away from it, right, you're dragging it, it'll like have very fast decay and it'll start like going back. But if you're there autoing it, like every auto resets to decay. So like if you want to drag it far, you have to keep autoing. Like get like, you know, backpedaling, auto attacking it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good as well.
To like punish people from like just autoing at one time and then just fucking dipping.
Sprinting to their tower, yeah. What else we got? Anything else we cover with the map? Oh, the towers. What do you guys think about towers?
Oh, yeah, the
towers are fun, but they're OP. I think the concept is really cool.
I like the plates. I just think they die way too quickly. You're literally getting all three of them in like 2 waves, 3 waves.
Yeah, and they do no damage. Also, the tower shots do no damage.
Like the plates are rewarding enough right now, but like compared to how much you get, it's way too easy.
Yeah,
it should actually be a fucking like a commitment to get the plates off the tower. Like like you should have to pick like Sol Sylvanas or something to like be able to get all 3 plates like easily, you know. I don't know what.
Yeah, like, I think
basically a slightly different Bastions. Like if Bastions in Smite 1 right now are 100 gold, right? And I'm pretty sure the first 2 plates are both 100 gold and the last one's like 200 or something.
Something like that.
It's a bigger buff, but like the plates should probably be separate from the actual tower's health. And they should,
for sure.
You know, as they do in League. To be honest, I mean, League obviously is it's a League concept that we've taken, and
it's kind of hard not to compare.
Plates should fall off at a certain point because there's too much value in getting gold from like this much gold from the towers. Either you need to nerf the gold that you get from it, or the plates need to fall off.
And the tier 2 should not have them either. It should be a tier 1 only thing.
That as well.
It should be a thing that rewards you for winning your lane, not
100%.
Not for PvEing and killing towers and getting a fuck ton of gold.
Yeah.
And I like that it's a
good.
I like it that it's like it's only to that lane also. Like if my soul lane is getting absolutely fucking pumped over there, I want him to be getting pumped, not me.
Gold when like it's not for an objective.
True.
Yeah.
Are the plates global?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying, like in Smite 1, it sucks when your soul laner is getting bodied, losing towers, and everyone on the enemy team is getting stronger.
What do you mean? Because like the tower drops a team 1 gold.
In Smite 1, yeah, I just hate how much like there's so much things. Once you finish the entire tower, yeah, but the plates are for individual.
Yeah, the plates are local.
I just like the idea of local gold for a lot of things more than like Gold Fury's fine.
Yeah.
But even like finishing a tower. It should be like 100 and like, oh fuck, dude. And I'm mentioning League again. How League does it is cool. 150 gold for me killing tower and my teammates get like 25. Fuck yeah. I'm the one that's winning lane. I should be getting the benefit. Why is my ADC who's sitting under tower getting the benefit, or my mid laner? I should be getting most of it. And so I like the idea of local gold more because it makes individual 1v1 matchups feel more rewarding if you're just absolutely just smacking this guy.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And I also think I think it's better to make the towers more tankier and like but keep the same gold, because I think if it gave less gold, I feel like it'd be kind of like it wouldn't really like be impactful. Like it would just kind of be like something you ignore. Like it'd be like trying to think of an example, but there are some mechanics people just ignore. Like I guess like the meteor like gold pickups sometimes. Like sometimes people just ignore that shit, and I feel like it'd be kind of lame if like the gold value is so small from the tower plates that like people are just like, well, I don't even care about these. I'm just gonna like like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it should be like impactful, but it should require you to actually like win your lane and not just like literally when I played solo, one wave I killed the entire tower in one wave, like level 3, I think it was level 4.
Yeah,
and that definitely should not be the case, but seems like an easy fix.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty easy just to give it more mitigation at every level. Like the first one is I don't know what it is right now. 50%.
Bastion's doing current Smite. They make the tower tankier.
Yeah. They should just bring that towards Smite.
Those are basically Smite 1 plates. Like you get gold for killing them.
Yeah, Bastions are good. Like how long it takes to kill sometimes. Like sometimes you can kill them fast if you're like Hades and you 2-3 and entire wave inside of it. Sometimes it takes a lot to kill it.
I like Bastions in the fact that it like makes the tower tankier, but I hate that you don't have to like be under tower winning lane. You can just like sit there as the enemy backs and just start poking them down. Like I think
it like a range carrier.
Like if you've been laning as a Yorm, he just pulls it. And
he just spits on and walks.
The plates in Smite 2 is definitely a better idea. It just needs to be improved on.
Yeah, a little pull from Smite 1, mix it with Smite 2, and I think it'll be good. Do you guys think the towers are too weak though? Like the damage they do too?
Way too weak.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really interesting talking point, because like some people despise when they can just get tower dove and like owned, but like I kind of like it that you can make plays and people can't really hide on the tower.
Yeah. Have you seen the damage on Smite 2 towers?
It needs to be a little bit more. Like,
it definitely needs to be more.
Dude, you could. I was literally like at like 6 minutes, and I was sitting under the tower like falling asleep, dude. Like it's not even a threat.
Yeah.
Is it ramp too slow?
It needs to be diveable for sure.
Yeah, I think it's ramping too slow, probably.
Yeah. How about Smite 1? Do you guys think Smite 1 towers are good damage, or what do you guys think about that?
I think they do too much right now.
I do a little too much, in my opinion.
With how much I'm under those towers.
They could do a bit less. They could do a bit less, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I think the ramping is like the most important. Like that first tower shot shouldn't do fucking half my health like it does in Smite 1. Smite 1, if you accidentally take an early tower shot, half health gone. But like that second and third one, it should start ramping a little bit, like it does in Smite 1. But
I don't really have a strong opinion on tower damage. I mean, I've seen plenty of times where a soul laner with like one item tanks a tower for his jungler, and they 2v1 me under my tower, and they last for like 10 minutes. I think the tower damage doesn't seem to be too big of an issue for most situations.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit more of a casual thing. They care about the tower damage a lot more.
Casuals care about it a lot. Like anytime they adjust the damage towers do, it's pretty much from casual complaints. I'm like pretty sure on that.
The Reddit's probably going wild.
In Smite 2.
What?
I feel like it's weird. Something about it just
it just feels off.
I think it's the lighting maybe.
I think
the lighting is definitely really bad on Chaos side. It literally looks like a 2012 game with the lighting over there.
Yeah.
Like when you spawn in, I don't know why it looks so bad, but the actual like room, like
something's off about it.
Something feels worse about it.
Yeah,
I actually think the current map right now has the best Titan room.
Smite 1.
Yep, it's my one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it right now.
I definitely really enjoy that.
I think I'm indifferent towards it. I think the Smite 2's Titan rooms are pretty shit, but I think a lot of it is lighting. But I do think our current ones are really good. But I don't have too big of an opinion.
Coming to lighting.
Oh,
yeah, true.
But what do you guys think about like the actual like the environment art of the map? Like, what do you guys think about like the backdrop and also like the trees and like the textures of the map?
Isn't most of that temporary?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to judge it.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's a closed out product.
Yeah,
everything. Like, the art is going to be like definitely like people were like blasting Smite 2's art. Like Emaru had a clip talking about how Smite 2 looks worse visually.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I'm pretty sure in game development, the visuals are pretty much always going to be the last concern rather than the actual like core gameplay. Like, obviously, you want everything to be serviceable. So I guess like I would say the visuals are serviceable right now, but they're definitely not the main focal point or the main issue.
Yeah.
I just think for very casual players, they don't really care about like the development stage. Like if the game runs badly and it looks bad, it's just gonna be the biggest turn off for them,
100%.
especially console players, and that's a massive demographic.
But I'll say like the backdrop is crazy, bro. Like that shit is nice. I'll be honest. Like
I think a lot of stuff on the map does look really nice, but
yeah, the trees.
like you guys said, it's obviously really early, and I expect it to be a lot better in August.
Yeah,
especially.
Definitely.
Oh, I guess we're in August, but in like 24 days.
Oh, speaking of art, also the
down, holy shit.
Do you guys think the
I'm counting down, dude.
Do you guys think like Smite 2 looks like, what was it? Was it cartoony? Like it looks more cartoony than Smite 1, or looks less cartoony? I can't remember what it was.
I don't know.
But I remember you talking about it with Susano Haddix, where you thought he looked.
Looks like DKO.
It does look like DKO.
Okay, well, the similarities between Susano's abilities in Smite 2 and DKO were like literally the exact same like art style, and that's not a bad thing. It's just like it was more so like surprising that like it almost felt like they literally like straight up like yoinked the art from DKO Susano and then just like copied it over. But I think that the abilities do look visually better across the board on Susano's abilities, except for his ult, which I think you know, pretty much everyone agrees with.
His ult's just straight up worse. Like not even like they just gutted his ult because they probably thought it was too strong. But I think it's better to keep it strong and like fun and visually powerful for the game.
I mean, yeah, you want to use UE5 to make things look more visually impressive and more. I mean, a lot of like Smite's 2 talking point was, you know, new engine can do a lot of things, and that comes with a lot better visuals and looking better. And I mean, it's just kind of sad to see like something like that come out. But obviously that can change with feedback, and it sounds like they're obviously going to change that. So just hopefully in the future they make things look visually better and more impressive.
Looking at my list.
Yeah, the next thing I see is the develop. Like, what do you guys want to see them focusing on with development over the next few months? Like audio, visuals, mechanics, gods.
I think you need a pretty delicate balance, right? Of like, like I said earlier, like everything needs to be serviceable, like bare minimum. But there are things that deserve a lot more attention. Like right now, I would say that the worst thing about Smite 2 is that the actual like gameplay, you feel like 20-30% slower than you do in Smite 1, right? And like
Smite's all about like high tempo and
that's the biggest thing.
So if people like someone in my chat too, like people say like the Smite 2 just feels slower, and it's because the animations across the board, projectiles are slower, you know, movement might just be slower. So that is like the major thing, like, and that's also like the major thing that's going to decide if it's going to be like actually fun to play in August or the end of August, is that if we still feel like we're an all-run ult, then the game is like if I load into the first game and I still feel like I'm all-run ulted, then that is instantly going to be the major thing that I'm thinking about feeling every single game compared to if they make the environment look beautiful, they make the map super fun, they bring back really cool items, so they add new cool items. All of that is going to mean less if I'm still all-run ulted. So that's like the major focal point that should, in my opinion, like deserve all the attention.
100%.
Did you guys play Paragon?
There are different departments there, right? For like art and all that, right?
I think Predecessor is pretty ass, personally.
That feels like Predecessor Smite 2 does.
Too slow. Yeah. Like the game just didn't feel fluid enough. I liked some of the stuff. I liked some of the systems and like some of the kit designs, but I think the graphics of the game were like they were like trying to be too good for.
It's reused assets from an old ass game, right?
It's reused assets. But yeah, I just think the game felt really slow and like kind of unresponsive. And
which one?
The Predecessor.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the movement felt like a little janky. I mean, obviously comparing everything to Smite 1, because like I feel like that's our
main game. So yeah,
it's actually just peak. Like it's kind of peak when it comes to movement and fluidity. So
I mean, no one wants to be slow. I mean, there's a reason why everyone loves movement speed in Smite 1 so much. There's a reason why people like building it. It's because like
It feels better.
It's the same in other games, right? Like, think about why Apex is so fun, because the movement was
movement
like
is sick.
actually just like kind of redefined how it was in
Apex.
Battle Royales.
Might have the best movement in like any game. That game actually just feels like butter.
Yeah, it's great movement.
No one wants to feel slow and sluggish and feel like things aren't responsive and snappy. And Smite 1 is pretty much like peak when it comes to like that responsiveness and snappiness. And you could even compare it to like with like Overwatch and Rivals right now. Like Rivals movement speed movement is like one of the more lacking parts in my opinion, where you feel very slow and sluggish compared to Overwatch. You feel like, I think Overwatch has like the best movement out of like any game almost.
Yeah, I think
gunplay, movement, animations, like everything.
Like you move around very snappy and smooth, and you move at a fast pace where you actually feel like rewarded, even when you're a tank. So yeah, that's a very important thing. You do not want to feel slow and sluggish.
Yeah, I feel like Rivals, like the running itself feels very slow and sluggish, but I feel like the abilities and the animations and how fluid, like I feel like it's very fluid. Like, I'm not sure if you played Spider-Man.
The base movement speed is too low.
Spider-Man is like peak movement in my opinion. Just like because all your animations are cancelable. Like you can stack like animations. Basically, you can like you can like web swing and then like shoot your web shooter at the same time to like cancel your web swing and then you launch farther, like stuff like that. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Good in that game. It's just
I hate that game.
The actual running.
That game is so bad.
That game is insane.
Yeah, the actual running is like sluggish.
I played like 15 games of it, and I cannot grasp why everyone thinks it's so fun. Every character just feels like meh.
Skill issue.
But it might just be the base movement speed is so slow that it makes just everything else feel weird. Maybe I die too much and I'm walking out of base the entire time.
Either way, like things being fast, like right now, I think I'm also confused. I mean, obviously it's a very early product, but like I feel like you could just pull up Smite 1 and then pull up Smite
side by side,
side by side, and you can throw, like, let's say you could throw on her impale, or you could throw on her autos, and you can just match the projectile speed. And I mean, I don't understand where in the dev process what's so difficult about matching.
I think that comes back to your point about like the build systems. Like if it's not broke, why would you try and change it, right? Like
that's for sure.
Especially with god animations. I mean, I think
I don't think they are trying to change it though, right?
On her, they are, though. With,
on her for sure they are.
Specifically, like it feels like he's had a lot of changes where like his impale, like you just slide across the ground if it's stunning to a wall. The jump feels a lot like
or intentional though.
I think it's intentional.
His one is also intentional, and that thing is so slow. They tried to make it like cinematic, where it's just slow now, and it's not responsive.
Like, I kind of feel like the intentional shift was to try and make everything feel like it has more weight to it, and like.
Well, that just don't you think that generally leads to just feeling slower? And
yeah,
for sure, 100%.
Like, but way too many things in the game feel like that for it to not be slightly intentional.
Got the white monster boys. I'm locking in.
Holy fuck!
I mean, I do think that.
Lumi says it's not that simple. We have literally done frame by frame testing, and a lot of things combined to make things feel sluggish or slow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that they have the goal in mind of matching it. It's just that's why I said I don't understand how it's so difficult like matching it. But obviously, it's two different engines and whatever. But going on from that, I think that is probably the biggest like difficult point for Smite 2 is that, I mean, what in my opinion the best feeling god in Smite 2 is Hecate, like by far.
For sure, yeah.
She's built in UE5.
She actually feels great.
Yeah, she's built in UE5 and she has her own unique kit in UE5, and we didn't have the chance to play her in Smite 1. So like that alone makes her feel like the most fun and like well built character, and like I think that's gonna just be really difficult matching UE3 gods with kits built in UE3 and matching them perfectly to what people expect in Smite 2. That's gonna be one of the hardest things.
To add on to that, I think Ven was making a point for like every character to have a brand new original UE5 kit or something similar to that. How do you guys feel about that? I kind of think it would be an absolute disaster.
Yeah,
it's weird. You're putting so much more work into something. Okay. I mean, to go back to what Haddock said, where if it's not broke, don't fix it. There's so many characters in Smite 1 that just have flawless kits.
Yeah.
Like if Honor's kit changed, Susano's kit changed, there's probably 100 others that could be named. Those are just the first two. That would just be an instant downgrade. If I got onto Smite 2 and Honor is not like impale, jump combo, 1-2 combo, anything with that, it's just going to make the character feel worse. So I think that's a bad idea. But with what you said with Hecate, I 100% agree. She does feel the best. But the character that feels second best to me is the Morrigan. because she always felt really bad on Smite 1. Like, everything just felt like it got caught. It felt like it just got weird. Whenever you tried to ult, it was never flawless. I don't know if you guys have played her on Smite 2, but she feels so much better, at least to me, on Smite 2 than she did Smite 1.
I mean, yeah, she feels pretty clean. I mean, my point is, like, I don't think all the gods feel bad. You know, I think a lot of them feel like same, if not pretty close, for like especially how early the product is. But
yeah,
you know, my point was that I do agree that she's one of the more cleaner gods. I think that it's just going to be very difficult to match people's expectations because it's going to take so much time. Like, I'm sure compared to other gods, I mean, I feel like they're probably putting a lot more work into matching the character's feel than making a new kit. But I could be wrong about that. But I think it's just going to be very time-consuming and difficult to make the kits feel the same. And I don't think they should remake the kits. I mean, Ven was saying that because that's just going to be easier for them to do. But obviously, what's easier isn't going to be the best. But yeah, I mean, they should obviously have the same old kits. It's just going to be very hard to remake them.
And I kind of like a lot of the actual kit changes they made to the gods. There's a couple, obviously, but like Hades being able to dash in ult is probably one of the better feeling changes in the entire game. Like, he feels like he's not just one chance to win a team fight and then you're useless, or you're just useless. Now you actually have like an ability to play team fights. And like one I know that's pretty debatable is like Zeus. So that one I'm a little indifferent towards, because he's not one that I can speak too positively about. I don't like him in Smite 2 very much, but like is there another one?
No,
Ymir's another one.
They actually reworked, right?
Well,
Otherwise, all the other gods have just been like adding on something to their fundamental kit and just giving them more.
Wait, did Hades get reworked though?
Yeah, I mean.
You're saying Zeus. Zeus is the one that got reworked. Okay, I got you.
Reworked it too, right? So I think that's the only character in the game where they actually like removed something and changed it, right? Otherwise, all the other gods they've just only added.
You might be right, yeah.
So like, let's say Hades, right? They just added onto his ult, or Ymir, they added onto the knockup. They did kind of rework how his abilities feel, where like, you know, like the 2 feels better where you can actually like swing around. Yeah, but that's different. I think that's different from like that's just making the ability better. So I mean, I think it's going to be very difficult. And I mean, reworks in general, like even in Smite 1, are very rare to actually go over well, just because you're taking what people enjoy and changing it. You know, it's very rare that reworks have worked out. They have worked out, but it's rare. So I mean, I just don't think that it's going to be very risky to actually change a character's kit rework wise, ability wise into Smite 2 when people just want to play the Smite 1 god.
Let's see.
We have a lot more that we could randomly bring up. I mean, I got a few more from my chat. It's
just like completely changing subject every time. Yeah. But yeah, if you got any you want to talk about, Nika, shoot.
I guess we talked a little about the streaming side, but do you guys want to talk about? I put down a point: how to promote content creation and reward good content in Smite 2.
Ooh.
I think yeah, from Hi-Rose's point of view, I think that I think content creators in Smite kind of don't get rewarded that much for one, making good content, 2, you know, like kind of growing in the scene. Like, I think the drop system and the partner program is just really underdeveloped. I think that's something a lot of people have mentioned.
Is that a Twitch side of things though? Like, I know the drop specifically.
I don't know if it's Twitch side, because I mean other games have crazy drop systems where
isn't the reward always just financial reward? Like, isn't that like I know that Hi-Rez and like certain like is there like, has Riot done something that, I mean, obviously there's probably something you could like look to, right, that you're like talking about.
Well, Riot has
Rust has a drop system which like kind of promotes smaller creators, like getting a lot more rarity like in the drops they provide to viewers, and also Tarkov does the same thing. It kind of just rewards more people within the scene rather than like just having a permanent drop which kind of just stays top down.
So you mean like, just making drops more interesting, or like
make drops more interesting, like the actual partner program, instead of just giving skin codes to people, they could another drop system that people do, yeah, in Rainbow Six they give a cosmetic if people sub to you. like an in-game cosmetic. I just think stuff like that.
I mean, the drop system in Smite 1 is also like pretty like fucking bare bones. Like I'm like the viewer store, like it only updates like once a month, right? And they're pretty whatever skins. So I mean, yeah,
I just think it leads to a lot of like a lot of stuff like, you know, we've been seeing a bunch of like just AFK streams and shit like that, but like if the drops are more rewarding and allocated to people who are genuinely making content and not just trying to abuse the system, it's just better for the category. And if more people are rewarded rather than like, I mean, the OTK tournament's a good example, right? Like only a few SPL people had like exclusive skin drops and stuff like that. If that is just allocated throughout the scene to more creators, like people are just gonna get a bigger opportunity of like showing off how like the content they create. Like maybe a new meta within the category will pop up. I mean, like Slayer, for example, with his like dancing and shit. Like there's just so many things that happen on Twitch that don't happen in the Smite category. It's just all like really basic. Like we just all queue ranked pretty much, and I think it kind of stems from there isn't really much of a reward for making like crazy content.
Oh, I'm sure it's the same if you go to like the league category. I mean, pretty much everyone's just queuing ranked, right?
I don't think so. They do a lot of like in-house tournaments or like created tournaments. Last time I checked.
But I think that's more of the players and the streamers.
Issue, you know?
No, I think it's just more of like the players or like the streamers are just putting it together. It's not like Riot's putting that stuff together. Like it's player ran tournaments. But I think the thing you're kind of talking about is like the sprint drops. I don't know if you remember those or whatever.
They still do those, right? I think.
I've got no fucking idea. But if they do, like, I think that is kind of what you're talking about, where it's just like randomly 3, 4, 5 people a week are chosen, and they have like these ultra rare.
Everyone gets the sprint drops.
Everyone gets them.
What are the like the rare like 3 or 4 or 5 people get them? Do they not?
It says it's you can get these like select streamers, but it's like everyone's in the partner program.
Oh,
it's
what
just,
the
like,
fuck?
They just showed the top few probably. I mean,
on the
entire
like,
goal of drops. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like on the actual drops page, every single time it's like a new set of people's names, but everyone in the category who's in the partner program gets the sprint drops.
What the fuck? Like, I thought it was only the like ones.
But the people whose names are on there definitely get like more viewership because obviously if you check the drops and you see those names, you're gonna click on those.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Well, then I guess then something like that, instead of just advertising those 4 or 5 people, just have like a random.
I don't think anyone actually like sees that and goes to their channels. I think they just open up the Smite category and go watch a streamer.
I think they do though, because
they for some reason do, because you'll have an increase in viewers. At least when I had it, I had a pretty big increase when mine showed up. Yeah, that's why I thought it was specific ones.
You can definitely tell when like smaller creators are on the, they get like way more viewers, which I'm surprised with as well. But that's
it was surprising.
Sure. Yeah, I don't really know anything about that. But the goal of drops in general is to, let's say you have 100k people playing Smite, right? The goal of drops is to take that viewership or that player base and turn it into viewership that can, you know, lead to marketing for your game. Like Tarkov, for example, they have tons of players, but then they would open up drops and then their Twitch category would, you know, go to the top. It would explode, yeah. So the goal is just to have drops take that player base and turn it into actual viewers that markets you. And they could probably do that in a much better way. Where there's, you know, the drops right now, I mean, I'm honestly surprised how well they work, considering how lackluster like the rewards are, and they change once a month. You know, you could definitely make the rewards change more often, or be better skins, or have more skins in the store, and you know that probably reward a lot more people, or want to make other people that don't care about the drops, and that could turn more players into viewers.
I mean, there's even like pretty simple additions like the shadow skins for more gods, and make those only available from watching streams or something like that. I do think it's a pretty underutilized market.
There should also be drops only skins that you'd have to watch someone watch a certain time period for drops only, and that would lead to a lot more viewership as well.
Yeah, I think drops are for sure underutilized.
I think they could do some like creative showcases and stuff as well. Like I think they did it a little bit. I think I only saw it with like, I think it was Rexy, or maybe it was one that like and stuff were in the store, but they would have them on like the front page of like the Smite like client when you open it. Like you could like click on the little thing.
I get you. Yeah.
I think having some way to promote different like creators like every week or every month, like you know, kind of how like Twitch does a front page where like you can apply and then they select people to put on the front page for a category. I mean, they could kind of do the same for Smite as well, where like, let's say like you have a sign up period, 20 people sign up, and then people on like the community team like go through all the candidates and like pick people who are making the best content, and then like reward that streamer with like a front page appearance on the Smite client. You know, like it just makes people want to create better content for the game, make more content for the game, and it again just like puts more eyes on the streaming space or YouTube or however you want to do it.
Yeah,
I think it would be good as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that comes back to just how horrible Smite's menu interface is. Like, it's so just unoptimized, not good. It should definitely be, like, if it ever comes to it and there's like an esports scene, like there needs to be esports put on there. There needs to be some sort of content creators put on there, obviously their skins and stuff like that. But I agree with you that there needs to be a little bit of support for, I think, content creators in the actual menu.
I mean, the goal is just always to turn players into viewers, and you know,
for sure.
a lot of other games do that really well. And you can take successful examples. I mean, Rust is also a really successful example. Now obviously their skins are different from Smite skins, where they don't invest in them, but you know, they have like creator skins where they have drops for them, and you know, like let's say
Rainbow Six is the closest that you could compare to Smite, where they like they give like different top streamers like their own like weapon charm and stuff like that, and to get
really
like a reward skin or something.
Like Jinxie
That's
and
sick.
Shroud would have like a weapon charm, and you'd have to like gift 2 subs to get it or something like that, and
that's sick.
It juices up the streamer, and it's just like,
I mean, it's mutually beneficial. It's good for the game. It's good for the streamer. Yeah, and that's always the goal.
That's what you want.
Mutually beneficial. But yeah, I mean, they just there's a lot of, because I mean there are a lot of, like, if you look at the Smite category, like the viewership is like usually like under 10% of the players, and you could easily boost that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Rust has a small viewership on Twitch usually, but then when they start doing drops, they explode. Same with Tarkov, right? So Smite could do the same thing, and that's very good marketing. Like people hear about Rust and Tarkov.
They get hyped for it. Like changes the whole meta of Twitch.
Yeah,
you know.
It's a big deal when those games start doing those drops, because it's really great marketing. And you know, obviously, I mean, Smite actually, I'm pretty sure does compete with Rust player base, doesn't it? Like I'm pretty sure Smite with console has like typically.
I actually think it does. I mean, I know so many EU Smite people who play Rust.
Yeah, I mean, well, either way, like Smite's viewership has never matched its actual like player base at all, and not even come close to it. And they could definitely do a lot better with drops and drop events, and that would actually like boost their marketing a lot.
I think they can keep the 24. Yeah, I think they can keep the 24/7 as well. Personally, like they could add like tiers to the partner program, where like, you know, once you get accepted, you get access to those 24, and then just have ways of distributing like rarer drops, like you said, for like different events or just like random periods of the year, which like builds extra hype.
Wait, what do you mean 24/7?
You know, like the viewership, the viewer points drops and stuff we have now.
Oh, you just don't. You think it should stay 24/7? Like, you don't care about that?
Yeah, I think it's fine to have like a basic.
Yeah, I think it's fine too.
For the whole category, like because that's just gonna allow like every creator to benefit, right, at once.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, there might be some like limitations with like high res and Twitch. Like it may not be like so simple to just like, you know, like slam whatever kind of drops they want. I'm not sure how it works, but
I'm pretty sure it's.
I mean, I would just assume based on the drops other games have done, that like it can't be that difficult.
I think it's 100% possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's a difficulty thing.
They don't have to do anything revolutionary. It's just
It's just lack of interest in that area, or maybe lack of knowing how important it could be, or because I mean, I think Rust is a great example. I mean, the player bases are definitely similar between Rust and Smite. Maybe not currently, but previously, like at the start of this year or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the player bases are typically like comparable, and I mean, whenever I hear about Rust, people like watching Rust on YouTube, but like on Twitch, they do the massive drop events, and that's huge promotion
it's
for their
Twitch
game.
Rivals and drops alongside it every time.
It's mutually beneficial for their streamers and for the game, and the game gets big advertising. I mean, there's definitely a lot more they could do with drops, and it would be it's a pretty untapped gold mine that would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think they had an example of with the OTK event. You know, like it just shows that like when you do provide those drops, like so many more people watch. Like there was thousands of more people in the category. You know, like you could do that 3 or 4 times a year, and it would just benefit everyone, like everyone in the community.
Yeah, I think that Twitch category, like there's the Twitch category is a lot more involved than like YouTube viewership.
Yeah, YouTube you can't really influence. You can't algorithms and shit.
Yeah, you can't do much about the YouTube, but for Twitch, you have a lot of control on how you actually influence that. And obviously, if you don't influence the category or you don't let it prosper, like that's a direct correlation to your actual like community, with how like I mean, let's say like Twitch viewership dropping. You know, if people can't stream the game for a living, then you lose streamers, and you lose streamers, you lose marketing, and it's just a big spiral. So either way, just saying that like it's very important to put effort in that area.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I think this was a question from Zav. Well, which one was it? If nothing else super drastic happens to improve the game before 24/7, instead they just add 3 to 4 gods and some items, how long do you realistically think you can play the game before it gets boring? Fucking Dooma question.
I mean, if this rank, you can play for a long time. This rank.
I don't know about that.
Really?
If the game feels how it did,
I mean, I'm sure. I mean,
I don't think I'd be interested in playing it for more than like.
I mean, I think they're definitely gonna add a lot of new shit, a lot of like new.
Well, this is like worst case. It's like a scenario of if they add nothing to make it feel better, they add a few gods, add a few items. Like, how are you gonna feel about the game? And I mean, obviously that's worst case, and I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I don't think it will happen. But if it does,
that's a very bad like timeline.
It's pretty bad question, right? Because the only answer you have is a -1 to that.
Yeah.
That's why it was a Dooma question, but he's not.
It's a negative scenario, so it's going to be a negative answer.
Fuck you, Zav. Fuck you.
But, you know, I mean, it definitely is possible. Like, what are you saying? Like, I'm sure a lot of people are asking that and thinking that.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be underwhelming or not enough for them to play it. So I mean, it's definitely something you could talk about. But
yeah.
You know, the obvious thing is that if it's like that, then it's going to be negative.
Yeah,
it's either going to be negative or positive.
Yeah, like currently I'm holding back like the Doomer shit because like I want to see how they adjust to like the feedback and like what they add.
Yeah, because it's such a long time. Like
and like
people understand how much progress can be made.
If it's underwhelming,
a very long time for them to work.
If it's underwhelming, then I'll be like, okay, like we might be in trouble. But otherwise, like I'm like you know I'm like.
I mean, how many gods do you guys want for this? Because we had 2 weeks.
5?
Yeah, we had 2 weeks, right? Their original promise when they first talked about gods, or whatever, is that they would add 1 god a week, right? And they've like not really stayed true to that. It's been more so like 3 gods per month. But when they did that playtest, it was 2 weeks of work, and it was Susano Ares. So surely.
It feels like a lot of gods are close because like that YouTube video of like the guy picking gods that aren't in the game yet. Like there was like 5 different characters that you could pick. So they're probably all pretty.
Whatever doesn't mean that they have like the actual like. Kits
no, like you could play them in arena and stuff, and the kits.
Yeah, but they didn't have like actually kits, right?
They did. Yeah, they did. Like Amma, Mordred, like those characters, like you could fully.
Mordred.
Oh, that's not Mordred, yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Either way, I think that they should. I would expect personally at least like 4 to 5 gods.
Yeah, I think 4 to 5 would be good. I think a big
5
thing
would be great, and 4 would be okay. Where you're.
I think a big thing for the actual test is like I mean, for most people it'll be performance. I don't think us guys will have that issue. Like we'll be chilling. But for a lot of people, like the performance needs to be a lot better. Like they can't play on minimum graphics.
The servers too. Holy fuck.
Good FPS and stuff.
Yeah, the servers cannot be how they were.
Servers, servers need to be clean. There has to be no issues. And then I mean I think ranked just has to go up pretty quickly, and I'm like 100% sure it'll be like day 1 pretty much.
Yeah. I really just care about like I don't care about the gods too much. If they get 4 or 5, I'm fine. Even if they like lowball and they only get 3 in, I'm not too worried about that. I really just care that the Like there's a ranked game mode, so I have something to play. The game just feels better, and the servers aren't shit. If those 3 things are checked off, that's like mostly all I care about.
I agree as well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think progression for casual players as well is pretty needed.
Oh, like mastery system or something?
Yes, like I think we just need more info on the ascension passes, because that was
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I have not, because Zev talks about it every single day. how he paid for ascension passes and he doesn't know what they are.
Wait, what even are?
I don't think anyone really knows what ascension passes are.
They're just gonna be like the new form of
like battle pass.
Per god.
It's like battle pass for each god, almost like you like.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be like.
You get like new shit for each god. You get like
It's kind of what most games have now. I think Predecessor had that as well, where like each character has its own battle pass where it like ends up giving you a skin at the end, like when you cap it. And there's like stat trackers and stuff as well.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah, they have it in League as well with like stat trackers on each character, like that you buy. But I think progression is really important for casual players, because obviously not everyone is going to just be slamming ranked, but like people are going to want to make progress towards like masteries or whatever that is, whatever it's going to look like.
Half the people that play are playing to get as many fucking stars as they can possibly on fucking Aphrodite. So there needs to be some sort of implementation to that.
If all of it is very basic as well, like especially for the ranked system, like dude, if it's literally the most basic, like just my number is going up, like I'll be happy.
Dude, that's dopamine. If I see that number going up,
I don't need like qualifiers, promotion system, like all that stuff yet. Like just give me just give me a number for now, and then like flesh it out over time.
I've seen the number, bro.
But I think.
Number. But as long as our numbers, the number one numbers, are not equal, as long as like there could be a number 1, then all I need is the number.
Can't stop.
Yep.
I think the
one thing I'm worried about, dude. Apparently, the EU hacker has already been able to crash Smite 2 lobby.
Nope.
That's not great.
But no way anti-cheat is actually a priority if they don't even have like they can't even figure out that like the minion AI isn't even like fleshed out, like the actual like core features of the game aren't even fleshed out. So I'm sure that anti-cheat is not anywhere near the priority right now.
Yeah, at least they can like they're gonna have to ban him once, and he has to buy the game again for a while. So
I mean, yeah, there's just no way that like a couple of EU hackers are like anywhere near their priority.
Yeah, those EU
look at Tarkov.
Ruining our lives.
I mean, I'm joking, but like Tarkov literally farms hackers for money because no one else like there's not like new players entering that game, so they just ban hackers in ways, and the hackers buy new keys or buy new versions of the game, and they just farm hackers for money.
Hey, bro, fund the esports with the hackers. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
There's definitely not enough hackers for them to like.
Until they start hitting like both regions every day, like it's not gonna be a.
Bro,
it's just like a small group of absolute losers, right? So it's just like it's gonna be
the cost up.
It's gonna be targeted at streamers.
So Lermy said Chaos spent a whole week fixing minions, so let's fucking go.
Oh, let's fucking go. Chaos, also for ranked, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be almost the exact same. Like on launch, it's supposed to be the exact same as like Smite 1, which is like if it's even close to Smite 1's rank system in Smite 2, perfect. That's all I need at like the beginning of Smite 2 being dropped.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about that at all. What else? There's one about Hi-Rez's selection of released gods, good or bad so far. I feel like that's like a really tough question because
ask them.
I mean, obviously the gods they've picked are gods that allow them to test like different systems.
Yeah.
And like implement new mechanics. So I mean, you can't really like we can sit here and be like these gods are not fun, but like there's probably a reason.
Which is what we'll say.
There's definitely a reason.
And they need a diversity of pantheons, god, like
roles,
goddesses,
like god archetypes as well. Like
there's a lot that goes into it.
Like for example, like there isn't just one kind of mage. Like there's like I mean we have Hades, Sol, Zeus. Like we have so many mages already, but like they all fit like different archetypes a little bit. So,
Cuckoo, yeah.
I find them boring, but I understand. I'm not mad about it. But...
You also need default characters that are easy to play.
And that's what they're doing for sure.
Players optimized for popularity, tech needs, and diversity. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, I also think it's not really on us to decide like if the gods are good or not, because as Nika said, there is certain levels they have to reach for everything. They have like gods that they need to add in quicker. As long as the gods fucking work, it's whatever.
But I'm a clown, and I'm gonna say some of the gods are boring.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean,
They
I
definitely
don't
are.
enjoy
To be
every
fair,
character,
they
but
definitely are.
But I'm not mad about it.
yeah, I mean, it's very easy for all of us to be like, how is Thor not in the game, or like, how's
Mhm.
Ra and stuff. But I mean, they probably know that. I mean, those are like the
I mean,
obvious.
Vulcan,
kind of things that
Ra,
everyone should
Agni,
be
Merlin,
but-
Thor.
Vulcan?
Yeah, Vulcan is so much fun, bro.
No way, you're craving to play Vulcan in Smite 2.
Thoth, Janice.
Janice is for sure. That'll be an
Uller,
exciting god.
like, Uller for
Good
sure.
question.
Strange portals.
This question is,
Portals.
oh, we need strange portals on Yanis.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
What does that mean?
You need
Like,
to be able to see like
Rivals.
Bro
some
played
Marvel-
Marvel Rivals and he doesn't even know what Doctor Strange
You need
does.
you
Come
need to be
on,
able to see
Bobby.
what's on the other side of the portal, bro.
Yeah.
Like you
Oh.
can peek through.
Yeah, so
Dude,
Doctor
I get it
Strange,
now.
he opens up a portal. Both teams can go through it, but obviously in Smite they can change that. But like you can shoot through it and like and you can see
throw shit
what's
through
on
it.
the other side.
Yeah,
as
dude,
well.
actually, I'm kidding. My dream last night was a bunch of Doctor Strange portals in that game. I'm not kidding. Yeah,
Okay.
it was crazy.
Maybe you should not play as much Marvel Rivals then.
Yeah,
But
maybe
I
not.
heard Strange Portals and I was like, is that like a skin or something for him? But you're talking about Doctor Strange Portals.
Okay, another question. I think this was another Zav one.
Oh,
Mostly
no.
aimed for the later years of Smite, but how many modes do you think Smite 2 should have at the peak of 1.0 launch, given that the player base is split between modes?
Personally,
Ooh, that's
I
a good
think
question.
Conquest, Rank Conquest, Arena, Joust, and Assault. I'm not sure about Joust, but people love Joust. But I think they should not have like Clash and like all these other like random game modes.
I mean, you can literally go to Smite Master and see the most popular game modes, and those
Yeah.
are gonna be the ones that they're gonna add.
Yeah.
Was the question
I
on?
guess I guess another thing to add to that is like new player experience. So I don't know if you guys have like seen any videos or like spoke to any new players, but like the game like puts you in arena before any other mode, right?
Which
Yeah.
is bad.
Do you guys think that they should shift the new player like experience to Conquest like from the get-go?
100%.
Encourage people to actually play like the MOBA mode.
Well, I think there's like two ways that they've done it. I think making Arena the main game mode makes the game just inherently more casual because that's what people are going to learn first. And I think that is so bad for a MOBA. I think MOBAs start to finish are competitive games. I think you have to get them into Conquest as quick as possible. Like obviously Arena is a good thing to have. People want to like learn their characters. You should be able to have an Arena. There should be Assault to randomize. What'd you say?
Should definitely have the tutorial in Conquest, not Arena.
Yeah.
for sure.
If they
There's
wanna
like
go to Arena
certain
to
game
learn
modes to
their
have
character,
though.
Allow them and let them figure that out, but don't make them start in Arena.
Yeah, Conquest is
'cause-
still locked, or is it not locked? Apparently, it's not locked, but it was locked for a while.
I think maybe they changed it recently, but yeah,
Yeah.
it used to
Like
be locked.
for-
for
That was
sure.
crazy that it was locked. The main game mode was locked. The ranked game mode was locked for a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's just because if a player is stuck in Arena, there's a chance they may never experience Conquest because, like, I mean, with how much time it takes to hit.
I mean, if you go to
30 as
Smite
well
Master
for
right now,
ranked.
too, the games played, Conquest is the most popular game mode.
Yep.
W.
I think in 2019, Arena was most popular, then it swapped to Conquest.
When I first started playing,
And it's probably an issue that should be addressed, but it's probably like pretty low on the priority.
I think the issue's gotten better over time. is what
Yeah,
it feels
yeah.
like.
I mean,
Well-
they could maybe have like 3 game modes and one rotating game mode, like Conquest, Arena, Assault, and then the third game mode is like it goes between Joust, goes between MLTD, it goes between whatever.
well, I
I'm
think
not
that's
sure.
bad at the start because then that's just resources they're putting into a game mode that's not even there 24/7.
Oh yeah, or yeah, I guess I didn't think about the start, but
Yeah.
I meant like like down the line, like But I guess at the start,
I think
I
they
don't
only
know.
need 2 at the start. I think they need Conquest, or well, I guess 3. Conquest, Rank Conquest, and Arena. I think those are the only 3 that matter.
I agree.
I
as
don't think you
well.
need
I think
Assault
we-
at
yeah.
Be getting. You can add
when is
that.
launch. Would that be like? That'd be like spring of next
In-
year, probably.
Well, no, I was talking about literally in like 4 weeks.
Oh,
Oh, 4 weeks.
Were you guys talking
what
about
the
launch?
fuck?
Launch?
Yeah, like,
one-
like
the
what's
Oh.
the window?
1.0, like actual game
Oh,
launch.
I get
Arena
it.
is actually less popular than Joust and Assault right now. Not by a large margin. They're all pretty
Yeah.
close though.
Gotcha. So
I think it's fun.
Joust is only like what, like 20,000 games, or what is this? Yeah, it's only like 20,000 games behind Conquest.
So I guess you probably have to add Joust and Assault
I
at the
think
start.
I think Joust is essential. Like it allows
Yeah.
smaller friend groups to like play the game together as well.
Yeah.
Like
That is
without
like a
having
weird-
to
Is
deal
there any way
with
you could
the
like?
people.
Is there any way you could like combine it? Like like combine Joust and Assault or Slash, or any of these, like there's gotta be like a way to like have a rotating thing instead of having like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like all these like 7 game modes.
Well, I think they just shouldn't worry too much about like, because like Slash was meant to be a middle ground of Arena and Conquest, which is, I don't even think that's needed.
Should be no middle ground. I think. Or the middle ground should be like a sped up version of Conquest.
Like a Joust. It could literally be like 2 lanes.
Like literally like on the Conquest map, but like
got you.
with like accelerated like golden XP or something. I don't know. Like it does. We keep bringing up League, but doesn't League have something like that where it's like just like a quicker version of Summoner's Rift?
Well, it's like a party game.
They changed it. Yeah, they changed it. It used to be like a fast-paced Summoner's Rift, and you have like the launchers that launch at a base. But I think they changed it to like a different.
Dota 2 has a turbo mode. Okay, let's have a Smite Conquest turbo mode.
Turbo.
As the middle ground. Like if a player is like scared of Conquest, but they want to like slowly ease into it, I think it's better to not have like another map for them to try.
Yeah. Isn't that like
sort of like a Swift play from Valorant?
Isn't that like
it's
weird though?
Harder for MOBAs though.
I just feel like that's weird. Like the game is literally Conquest. I mean, the game is literally. Yeah, I mean, I guess the game is literally Conquest. You're like, if you're scared to play the game, then it's maybe just like play like arenas, learn the gods, and then go into Conquest. But I don't know. I don't think you need like a middle ground. I think it should just be arena, assault, joust, Conquest, and then ranked Conquest. Yeah. And I don't even think they should support like a ranked
I think that's good.
duel or joust at the beginning.
Conquest should be like the main thing. Like that should be like what everyone thinks about Smite, in my opinion. But I mean, I could see why hires think differently. But I think Conquest should be the main thing.
Well, Smite's like Smite's always weird because it's not even like a true competitive game. It's like this middle ground of playing it's like a casual MOBA.
Yeah.
And so
I guess you guys can decide between what those hires want. Like, hires want Smite to be like a casual game you just play on your couch, with your boys, or do you want it to be like a try-hard, hardcore, competitive, multiplayer?
You can do either extreme.
I think
there's obviously an audience for both. I mean, you can see that losing SPL has had a massive effect on the game's player base and viewership. So there's definitely a lot of people that have an appetite for competitive and are here for competitive. And there's also a lot of people that are just here to go home after their fucking 9 to 5 to play arena with their boys or assault
and get more stars.
There's both, and they can satisfy both audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think Joust is pretty important, especially if Haddix's stats are 20,000 less. I think it's good to have a game mode with less people. So if like it's just you and like a couple friends, you don't have to populate a Conquest map. You can just play a Joust game.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like over time though, like from the beginning, like adding a lot of game modes like Siege and Clash at the same time, and then
they shouldn't add those.
And then there was like the
Siege and Clash is in the game, bro.
No, wait, I'm talking like a long time ago, like from the beginning, like when they started adding Siege and Clash, they're both in the game at the same time, and then MLTD, and then like
wait, they weren't live? They weren't with the game when the game launched?
No, they weren't.
Wait, what were the game modes on launch then for Smite 1?
Conquest, Arena, Assault, Joust, MLTD, and then Domination. I'm not sure if Domination was on launch. I mean, when I started 2014, like when it actually came out.
No way, it was on launch. You mean like full launch? Yeah,
yeah, full launch. It was on launch. Yeah, like Domination was there. I remember playing Domination.
Yeah.
So they launched with like 7 game modes.
Yeah, then there was like ranked Conquest, and then ranked Duel. I think that was it. And there's also the 5v5 pre-made.
Yeah.
What? So they had like 10 game modes.
They did have a lot of game modes.
That's insane.
I feel like splitting people between game modes is kind of like a non-issue, honestly. Like I think it is. I think people only care about that because of ranked.
Isn't it more of an issue of just like resources put towards that? Like, should high-res be dedicating those resources towards getting like a siege map and a slash map ready instead of like adding more gods in? That's how I was looking at it.
If you're talking about the past and the past of the past, I'm talking about now. Like there's a lot less game modes, and they've done that for a reason.
I was talking about the past and now, kind of like I think.
Well, they don't.
I think there's less, but there's still too many. Like there's a lot of like fat you can trim like on the game.
Yeah. I think from the beginning, if they only had like,
just for a new player, I think it's confusing when you have like that many options as well, like in front of you.
There's players that literally only play those game modes, like only playing arena. Like you load up, if arena's not there, you're not playing. If a slash isn't there, you're not playing.
Yeah, also someone said the server infrastructure needed to support like all these queues is expensive.
But Lemmy did say there's very little overlap on the resources like used to make these game modes.
Oh.
So
wait, so like it would take a lot more time?
No, I think she's saying there's not much overlap between making game modes and like making like guides or like functionality. I think like probably with Smite 2, because like there's like limited devs to work on like everything. But in the past, I think like making game modes has no effect on like guides or items or balance or whatever.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I just kind of think the biggest thing is that it kind of just takes away from like the hardcore aspect of like Conquest and like a lot of people are like, a lot of people are like intimidated by Conquest, and I think that's also probably due to like bad bad learning, like
tutorials, shit,
like on board. Yeah, I that's a major thing they're gonna improve on Smite 2, like from the start.
Yeah, but Smite has one of the best tutorials for new players, and it's like one of the easiest games to learn.
Smite?
Do you think it has a good
tutorial? I don't know about that. I don't know about either of those, dude.
Have you guys played a League tutorial or
yes,
tried
League's
to learn?
tutorial.
League's is better than Smite's.
Yeah, League's tutorial is way better.
That's very surprising to me.
League's tutorial clears Smite.
Also, a lot of people, I used to have the opposite opinion, but a lot of people say that Smite's harder to learn than League, and like I used to think League was way harder to learn because of like.
Well, it's because League just has more resources for new players.
But yeah,
that's third-party tech and stuff like that. Like
I mean, also like the tutorial and like I think there could be a better like wiki thing in game. Like I was playing Civ, and like when you go to like the help, it literally has every single mechanic and every single like building unit, everything in the game, and you can just like search it up and you kind of just know everything.
And I've heard the opposite from a lot of people. I'm not saying that Smite's tutorial is perfect. I'm just saying that I think Smite, from what I've heard and what I know, it's definitely one of the easier MOBAs to learn compared to League. Like they literally have arrows on the map directing you where to go. You have auto build, so you can just click it on. You have auto level. Like it literally almost plays the game for you.
Oh yeah, if you mean that stuff, yeah. Like the actual tutorial though, like doesn't even put you on Conquest.
Like the Smite Arena tutorial.
Yeah, it puts you in Arena.
That's super outdated and shit. I think it puts you on Joust as well.
But yeah, it does.
I'm talking about
how you have auto.
You're talking about the help tips.
Level, and then it literally it gives you arrows on the ground where to walk.
You're talking about like the help tips, right? Like what's this jungle camp?
Buffs are and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when during the OTK event, for example, like there's literally everyone telling me like, oh, this shit's so easy. Like it literally tells me where to go and does everything for me.
I think it's because people got pushed to Conquest because that's all like the game mode was on for OTK. But when someone was trying to learn Smite, he thought the main game mode was Arena, and he was like, I've literally not learned anything at like the beginning of this, and he had to be told by someone else that like the game is built around Conquest, which is not how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing with the OTK event is like they got a lot of help and like people who had already played Smite and stuff. But yeah, for Summit, it was definitely a struggle. I mean, he also just experienced the auto build being like really bad.
And auto level.
Yeah, like League has like the whole like I forgot what it was called, the Blitz. So you just like.
Yeah, but that's again, that's third party. It's like a third party. Yeah. But I think it's also easy to do that in League because I think I was speaking to Cherry about this at some point where like he was saying the API access or whatever in Smite is just like way more limited than League's. So like if you wanted to make something the same as Blitz and stuff, it just would be a lot harder, I think.
Gotcha, yeah.
I don't know anything about that stuff.
Yeah,
but
and I'm not sure if I'm not sure if it'd be able to affect in-game in Smite, like. It's like your Blitz's auto like fixes your store and like buys shit for you.
That stuff is crazy. Like that stuff actually makes like the new player experience in League like 10 times better than most games.
Yeah, like and they just shows you the item.
You get told how to approach every game by something.
Yeah.
Just something.
There's like 3 different items, right? And it says like
someone said they are no longer allowing new people to register to use the Smite API.
Oh, damn,
is that
sad.
for Smite 1 or 2? Probably for 1, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure they'll probably re-enable it eventually. But like also League has an item store where it shows you 3 items, right? And it says like this is like high crit damage, this is high attack speed, this is high health or high life steal, and then you just kind of you just click whichever one you want, right? I'm not sure if that's Blitz, but
I think it is Blitz. I think Blitz has a lot of interaction with the client. But yeah, I think stuff like that would be cool to have in this scene as well. I'd love if someone was able to like make something similar, like have the resources to make
that'd be sick, yeah. We need jittins on that shit, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately, fuck, I'm muted.
Let's see. The current Smite 2 ward system, just having one ward is not enough for map play.
Jittins is gone, bro.
Something about Aegis.
No, but I'm sure we'll do a passion project.
Bro, I don't know about you guys, but I don't buy wards much, so I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion on.
I've warded more in Smite 1, or I've warded more in Smite 2 than I've already warded total in Smite 1. But
Yeah, I actually don't.
The ward system is definitely worse in
I think it's boring. It's just boring in my opinion. Like, was no choice.
Well, you're
no
losing
strategy.
You're losing the new like proximity ward and the Raven ward.
Which are actually
I mean,
sick. Those are sick.
I think the Raven ward is sick. The proximity ward's okay.
I actually don't like the Raven ward because it,
I like
it
the
reminds me.
Raven.
It reminds me of the Highland Ravens, and I don't like them.
The proximity ward is like just a little gimmicky. Like people just try and slow you with it in combat.
Yeah,
I guess it is more
Raven ward's definitely
PvP.
good, though.
I think it's fun
Using it
though.
as a trap or something. I think a sweeper ward would be
Claymore.
kind of like League.
You need to add some claymores, bro.
Yeah, I do think there's a spot for the trap ward or whatever to be changed a little bit, but I think the Raven ward is really good. I think it's good to have like a long range view of something without having to like walk in. I will say I think maybe like a slight change to the wards in Smite 2, but I think wards being free, or at least the base ones being free but on a cooldown, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I think warding should be free because it just makes
Just
you
the base
more likely
one.
to
Really?
Oh yeah, just the base one. Yeah, just the
Not
base
like a
ward,
sentry, not the Raven ward,
No,
not
that stuff
the
you
third
should
one.
I feel like
definitely
that's
Yeah.
like I feel like that's training wheels.
I think it is a
Well,
It
I
is
think
a-
if you're trying to appeal
if you want-
to casuals and competitive side, there has to be some training wheels. That's the thing. Like, when you try and like make the game kind of like 50-50 or as close to it between the community, like there needs to be systems in place that like makes it more appealing for like casual players to use more like difficult systems, right? Like if I'm a casual player and I have to like
I
buy
think if anything,
wards,
casual players buy wards more often than the more experienced players.
maybe like the pros and stuff, yeah, because we're just like fucking idiots.
I mean,
True.
I think
I
that
don't know.
wards aren't a hard concept to understand for people. I think having a free ward is like definitely less interesting than having to buy it and think about
It's
spending
definitely
money
less
on
interesting, but
it. And
I just
it
think
feels like training wheels.
if I'm
Yeah, I'm
new
trying
to
to
the
think.
game, like I don't know. I don't remember the last time I watched a new
And how do
player.
you
like,
how do you get
watch a
Raven ward and proximity ward with that?
You just pay 50 gold to like upgrade a ward, and then once you upgrade, you can cycle through the other ones. I think it just makes it easier to like
How would you cycle through to that point too?
like in the store, like if you click your ward, it like brings up the store or something like that, and then
Yeah.
there's like the 3 different options. But like you start at the base one, you spend 50, maybe 100 gold to upgrade to get one of the other ones, and then it's on like a
There's gonna be times
cooldown
where
like the
you
other
don't
ones.
only want a Raven ward and you want a normal ward too. Like I feel like there's more flaws with that system than there is than just buying a ward.
I just think there is a happy medium of there should be a set amount of wards almost always on the map, but I think Smite 1 has hit this point where there are some games where there's like wards everywhere and anywhere you walk. Like, bro, there's like, you can have like bracer wards and then everybody else can have 2 other wards, and then you can also use a Raven ward. Like, you can have everything lit up 24/7 if you want. And I think it made, well, part of it was like the 9.5 patch, but part of it was just like, if you warded once or twice, you could not gank a lane. Having it on a cooldown, or like knowing if somebody warded and then if it's going to be up or something like that, I think adds like intricacies to like the high end, instead of just I buy 2 wards, I place wards, you have to deward, otherwise you can't gank me. I think that is a little bit more lame.
I actually agree with
Also,
that.
about the starts, also like maybe in Smite 2 you might need like a free ward at the beginning just so you don't get like.
Oh yeah, those
invaded.
fucking junglers. Oh yeah, Invader.
Yeah, and like the support and shit, like and as junglers too, honestly, like just the way the starts are in general. I think they could easily change that start, like where you start, but the way it is now, like having one free ward might be useful. But I think having like a ward slot where it's just like you can't like you can upgrade to a sentry, but like it's just like I feel like the current Smite 2 system is boring for wards.
I feel like a ward slot is just so not right for a MOBA, dude.
Yeah, I don't
I agree with that.
I just don't think I
it should be
could-
stuff red.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean having a ward slot? That's
Like just having on your HUD a ward slot that's free and you has a cooldown just seems so inherently wrong to a MOBA.
I mean, that's what League has. Not saying like
I mean-
League's doing everything right. I'm just saying if you think it is wrong, like League does that literally as is.
Okay, but we don't do that in Smite though.
I mean, you said it's inherently wrong to a MOBA. I'm just telling you it is correct to one of the MOBAs.
I guess I should word it to Smite then.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's if you feel like it is inherently wrong to Smite, that's fine.
For the entire existence of Smite's game, it's been always you buy a ward, and you've had to think about it. I mean, not that you can't change it, but to me, it just feels like training wheels, and I just really don't like having a free ward slot on my HUD, and I have nothing else to change it for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is probably just something we'll just disagree with, because I think I like the idea of having less wards.
Opinion. I don't think that there's like an objective thing to that. I just don't like it personally.
I will say, like, the ward battles late game in Smite 2 are kind of lame. It's like, 5 of you ward, and then I don't know. It's just different from like being smart about like which wards you want to buy. I feel like the whole like you have a ward on a cooldown slot and that's all you got. No other kinds of wards. It's just kind of boring. Like late game.
Wait, I thought you said you didn't like Smite 1's current warding late game?
No, I like it. I don't like Smite 2's.
Oh, you like it? You said. Okay, I got you.
I don't like Smite 2's current wording. It's just kind of like, I was just kind of lame. There's like not much like thoughts to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But I also think it's just because Smite 2's warding idea is also flawed. I think having literally just a base ward and then just a sentry ward, and those are the only two options you have, is bad. I think there needs to be like more options, and
I agree with that as well. I think like sweep awards
sweep awards
are so much fun as well. Like when you have to actively like go out of your way to deward and be rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Or like the blue wards from League as well for like clearing objectives. It's a little bit like the Raven one as well.
Yeah.
I think those wards are really cool as well.
And I think there is a way that they find like a nice slot in the middle between, I don't know, having like a free ward that's on a cooldown that takes up a consumable slot, or not a consumable slot, like an item slot, or consumable slot. I don't know. I'm not too set on warding. I think both warding in Smite 1 and Smite 2 currently as is, both of them I do not like.
Sorry, I'm literally watching.
I can understand that. I mean,
I'm watching Minion Subway Surfer. I'm zoning out.
I think
I think that it is definitely something I haven't really thought about. Where I mean, there is probably too much vision going on in Smite 1, but I don't know if double warding at the start of the game is really that much of an issue. But I mean, yeah, the warding can definitely be improved on in both games.
Yeah, what one worrisome thought is like the console buttons. Like if you add a ward slot, relic slot, all that kind of stuff. Like you might run out of buttons or something, or it might be like hard. Like I don't think you actually run out of combinations, but it'd be kind of like unintuitive to have like all these like buttons and stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious how hard it was for them to like change all these things with like the limit of like a controller. I feel like it makes it just so much more difficult than...
I spoke to some people who play on controller, and they said it actually feels pretty good right now. I don't know, maybe it was just like select 2 people, but you just click like or you just hold down like one button and it lets you have like mixed inputs or something, where like you hold down like left trigger and it lets you do like the D-pad turns into like other buttons you can press, or like the base keys. So
I think that's how.
I don't think that's too limited with controller.
I think that's how they had it on Smite 1 then, because I remember you'd have to double click or like button combo sometimes. So yeah, and it was weird because I'm interested that some people are saying that it's actually fine on console, because a lot of what I've heard is like people hate console, but I've never heard a console player say that they hate it. But it's just like, I heard that they hate it. I don't know.
I also heard a lot of people don't like it.
Did it come from like an actual console player's, or like a controller?
Controller players like in chat.
Okay.
Let me say it's very difficult with active items, but she said essentially we are at +3 keybinds at this point, like 3 more extra keybinds in Smite 1.
Interesting.
So, a little interesting. But yeah, I don't really play controllers Smite, so I don't know how that is.
Yeah, I played once in my life, and it was to get a skin.
But like, if you're like trying to compete, right? Like, let's say you're like playing ranked, or like high-end ranked or something, and you're just like you can't use your active items as fast as other people. it could be a slight disadvantage. I don't think it's that big of a deal though. Like I think like I also don't think that people are gonna have that many like active items in their slot. Like I mean, the most someone's gonna have is like 3, maybe 4. But like 2 is like standard on ADCs. Maybe like 2 on mid, like Mirrodin and maybe the HP shield thing.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe support gets a little funky with actives if there is like 5 or 6 OP ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I played console Smite and our console Smite 1, and I loved how a controller felt on Smite. Obviously, it doesn't feel nearly as good as a keyboard and mouse, but
yeah. So
I always thought it was fine.
What do you guys think about the active system? Like not just the items, but like just the actual like active like system, like the active items themselves, and also like the system, and like I guess we kind of already spoke about console, but like do you guys think? Because I did a poll recently, because some hires people asked me, and it seems like most people, or like let me look at it, but it seemed like some people did not like the active system. So I think 37%, about 800 people, thought that they should remove the active item system.
Damn.
And then 27% said keep it but adjust it, and then 35% said they like it. So I thought more people would like it, to be honest, but
people are generally gonna dislike change.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Like, it's something
yeah.
people have to adjust to, and then they'll love it down the line.
Yeah.
I think.
I love it currently, and I've only played it a few games.
Personally, I like it, but I fucking hate having to change my key bindings, man. I still haven't found like a good set of
That's
key
true.
bindings.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because I use 1, 2, 3, 4 to level my abilities.
Yeah, same. And I'm left shift QE spacebar.
Yeah, same. So that is kind of
Wait, do we all use like somewhat similar keybinds then?
I use shift and leveled my abilities.
Yeah, I use 4. Wow, me too.
We all level 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Wow. We're so
I think that the active item, like, I think that you could definitely have like the current, like how they're like adding more relics. I think you can have both. I mean, I think that you can have one relic item with active items, and then you have a bit of both systems that are just new and fun.
Yeah. What do you think about like the unannounced Valve game system where it's like you have like an inventory of like 4?
I've not played it.
It's like, so you have like four actives, and you can put like wards, potions, relics, like.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But like.
No, I actually don't. I never.
I mean, I don't know so much about it either, but.
You put sarcasm spin on it. I thought you were being serious.
I haven't played it, so I actually don't know. But like, let's say you have like a slot with like 4 actives or something, right? Do you think that would be better than having like 6 active item slots, or like, so it's like an inventory. You can add like, let's say you can add beads and blink. You can add potions.
Are you really gonna use 6 active items?
It's
probably never.
Realistically, never.
So
unless you're trolling.
Why even have that many slots, right? And I mean the let's say like if you're talking about like 1 through 6, I mean it's like if you're pressing 5 or 6, I mean that's pretty fucking hard to like do that in the middle of a combat.
For sure.
I'm taking my hand off the mouse and slamming my
yeah.
Elbow dropping the 6 key.
I think the smaller amount for like the most realistic amount of actives you're gonna have is better. Like having 4 in my mind would already be better than 6, just because that's like just kind of weird having to be able to press 6 for that, and you're never really gonna have that many. So I think that already sounds like a better system than having 6.
You're gonna be this guy if you have 6 active items.
Yeah, it's not happening, bro. But I mean, I think that does already sound better. But I do think that it's also good to have that with the current relic system. I think it's fine.
You think relics plus like the 4 active system?
Maybe that's too many binds at that point. I'm not sure.
I mean, I feel like that's just like the same thing as like the active. Like it's just like, because like I mean, no one's really gonna have more than 4 or 3, honestly, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously, from that poll that you said, it's very split, and it's also early into it with not much gameplay, so people don't even know if they like the change yet, and most people are gonna dislike change already. So
I think people would like it after time. Personally, that's what I think.
I think that someone just needs to take leadership and go forward with an idea and commit to it.
Yeah, that's what I think as well.
Because listening to feedback about something that's underplayed is change, which people are gonna dislike. I mean, a lot of it you're just not gonna get solid feedback on that. You need to send it.
Yeah. But it has been very split. It has been very split, though. I
think that people want consumable slots, so that sounds like a solution, right?
Yeah, that's not a solution.
And people definitely want some of the old relics. I personally want combat blink. I think you need beads for
Yeah,
certain gods.
Link, Aegis.
I think having they could have other cool relics like Sunder is like okay, but they talked about adding more. I think.
Give me time as a relic, bro. Let's fucking go.
So I mean, I think there's a balance point where you can have a bit of that and a consumable slot with active items in there as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think that system would be much better. I think that sounds a lot better. Like the whole like you have your small inventory. You can put in like as like it also adds more creativity. You can add like let's say you can add like 4 different relics. Like let's say they add a bunch of relics. They add like beads, blink, sunder, Aegis. You can just have all of those. You can add whatever the fuck you want, thorns, whatever the fuck. That could be like really goofy to run like crazy shit like that. Okay, yeah, maybe not thorns. Thorns is fucking bullshit. But
wait, so
Zapman would be so happy, bro, if they didn't add that shit back.
Thorns is such a bad relic, man.
What's up, Bobby?
does it has 6 item slots then and 4 active slots?
No, so it has like 4. It's just like 4 slots. It's 4 slots for all your potions, wards, relics.
Yeah, but
active items.
Let's just say
and then you have
slots.
And then you have like your 6 item slots, which are just passive items.
Yeah, passive items, and like I guess like I said, like Pridwin would be like a relic or something.
So you separate
like
if you buy an active item, it'll go to your utility slot.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so like
think that this would be a pretty hard concept to like actually visualize, and you need to play it to see how you feel about it.
Yeah, I think I would have to play it.
It's changing a lot of systems like really hard.
Yeah.
So I think you'd have to play and really have to get a feel for it before you can come to a decision on it. Like there's a lot of things that sound good on paper and then you can play it and it's like, holy fuck, this is garbage.
100%.
So
and
like
vice versa too.
That idea sounds So I mean that idea sounds pretty good on paper, but you really don't know until you play it.
Yeah.
Also,
I think one downside would be like if I can't slam like I have to ward, right? So it'd be kind of lame to only have like let's say like you know a limited amount of item actives and then only like 1 ward. Like that would be kind of lame to like I'm like restricted because I have to fucking ward. Then in that case I'm never gonna ward. You know what I mean? That's one of the main downsides I could see.
I think it would be weird also having to put gold for.
That's fine limiting wards. Not everyone needs to be able to ward, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Especially going into late game, I think you have to prio like choosing an active reward.
Yeah,
but
that is fine.
If it like, I assume it would like. Again, this is kind of just purely spitballing because I have no idea what the system is. I have no idea like how it would work. I haven't played with it or anything. But like if you wanted to buy an active, you'd have to put gold forth to buying that active, or you'd have to choose like a passive item, right?
Say again, sorry.
Like in for that system you're talking about, those actives cost gold, right? And like the items also cost gold. So you'd have to choose to put money towards. It's kind of like the old relic system in Smite where you started with nothing and you have to put like whatever it was 300 gold towards like actually buying the beads.
Yeah.
I mean that's kind of interesting. I always liked that old Smite. You had to buy relics instead of just starting with them in level 1. But ever since like season 4 or something like that, you got it just for free. But
isn't that just because new players were like really bad at buying it?
I have no idea. I was a new player back then too. That was like when I first got into Smite.
I'm pretty sure it was to help newer players because they were struggling with like there were so many different things they had to buy that there wasn't really a good flow of the game for when they should buy stuff. So
just make the game a little bit simpler.
They just decided to just make us like simpler, but obviously like relics still have their own skill cap with like how we should use them and stuff.
Yeah, that could definitely be cool.
I think already that could be on paper more interesting than even Smite 1 system where you know, like let's say you can buy a health chalice, you can buy a ward chalice, you can get both your relics, you can get all your items. So like you kind of get everything, but like there you kind of have to make decisions where you know it could be more interesting where you could have like one person be the warder and other people have like more important active items or relics that they need to have.
Yeah,
I mean I think that's
maybe you had like
more interesting kind of limiting choices where you have to make decisions.
Imagine you add like crazy impactful warding and like one guy is like the ward guy and you just have like he dominates vision. So like if that guy dies and like you don't have your vision and stuff, like it could be some interesting dynamics to it.
But it's hard to tell without playing.
Yeah,
honestly.
But like, do you think there's like a point where like there's too much shit to like for new players? Sort of like You have to get like a fucking recipe. You have to get a fucking.
It depends on
shard,
what your
starter.
ambition with the game is. If you want to be a
Yeah.
hardcore MOBA, no. If you're trying to appeal to casual players and stuff, then yes. Like you definitely don't want to make it too.
Yeah.
Burning.
You gotta find a good balance.
If you want to just all in like a game where a lot of knowledge is needed and like you can just win by being smarter and like knowing systems better and shit, then there isn't really a limit as long as the systems don't just make the game like pointlessly complicated. Like as long as it's still useful.
Like aspects, like do you think that that's a good system, or would you prefer that not in the game, or would
I think they can be good, but the like
aspects are good on top of starters.
I just think the current aspects are just really boring.
Or like starters.
The only good one is Golden Blade.
Yeah. The Barbarian one's pretty good, honestly.
I think it's just boring.
Yeah,
it is boring. It is.
Wait, which was the Barbarian one?
It just gave you true damage.
You do damage when you auto, bro. It's just
it was like crazy. Like you pick areas and you just one shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but like that's
boring.
That's just like how are we in 2024 with UE5 tech and like introducing a more lame mechanic than something in Smite that happened like 10 years ago?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
It's such a boring passive.
It kind of felt like it was just like placeholder aspect.
Yeah, it felt like a placeholder.
Yeah. And I think it's fair too. Like that's fair.
But I don't. Yeah, but the thing is that they don't. I don't think they are placeholders. They feel like placeholders, but they are not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like they feel like it, but they weren't. Because like
because the same thing
you
with
can just
items.
tell
The items,
like they're boring. You know.
The items were very uninteresting and boring, and they felt like placeholders. But there was no changes for 4 months on new items, or changing the items to be more interesting. So at that point, the only thing you can assume, and I mean at that point, you basically know that they are intended to be like that, and they don't plan on changing them.
Yeah, that is fair. But I mean, everything is subject to change. Like everything can be changed.
Obviously, once you get feedback on it, but I'm saying you think that it's obviously a placeholder because it's so boring, but it turns out that there's a lot of boring things that are not placeholders.
And you guys think a lot of people have been saying that something similar to the rune pages in League would be fun instead of something like
I think that'd be sick. I would like that personally. Like that's what I thought they meant when they said in like the blog post that it was gonna be like runes or like things that like boost your character. I think it'd be sick because like I feel like the runes would allow you to like off-roll your character more. Like let's say you're playing fucking Fenrir, you can add on like more tanky runes or like more sustained runes or something, and like you can kind of change the playstyle of your character.
You can also make it super simple, and it doesn't like. If at the beginning it's just like the depth of it they're worried about, they can make it incredibly simple with just like skill points where, because every character basically starts at the same like health, protections, all that good stuff. You can put like a couple points into your health because you're playing into a losing matchup and you want that extra health. You could put it into.
I think Dota has a similar thing as well. When you level up a skill, like you can pick like different power ups per skill or something as well.
Oh, that's what Andy always talks about. With like making your character stronger based off of like one skill or something.
But also,
which would be interesting.
Said about like it depends on like which direction you want to take. Like you want to be a hardcore.
Yeah, also, you don't want to take away from what Smite is as well. Like you don't want to add too many systems from other games because obviously like people play Smite because it's Smite. Like obviously there's a lot of good stuff in other MOBAs as well. But I also. Like, as much as I think it could be cool to have a rune page and stuff, I could also just see it being, like, really annoying for a lot of players. Because, I mean, they're just used to everything being so simple.
The rune page is going to sound a lot better to people that have, like, 20k hours in the game like us. It's not always
it turns me on.
I'm sure it
does.
That's
why, I mean, it's kind of the same as builds, though, where it's, like, there would be default rune pages as well for every character. Like, like auto buy pretty much, like auto runes.
Yeah, like maybe you can choose like, do you want to be like more like aggressive? Do you want to be more like?
Yeah, they have 3 options in League where it's like
that already sounds like a very like big undertaking to make something similar to runes or like have your
it's a huge system. It's a system that like kind of affects. It's gonna affect every character like significantly, and like. You know, that's the kind of thing where it would take forever to implement and also forever for it to be good, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like
there is also the illusion of like choice where like
illusion of choice, well like
you think that's going to be really cool, but then there's going to just be a meta. There will be a meta where one rune setup will be the best, and at that point is the character really that much different? because I mean, like obviously you can shift the runes to be different. Yeah, you can shift it to be different, but like either way, I'm just saying like it's not gonna be it's not gonna be as like, big.
Even with metas, I think it has a big impact in League because I mean, you adjust your runes per comp, kinda like I mean, there's just some
and per lane matchup.
Yeah, right, and per lane matchup and stuff, and sure it won't be like I switch between 20 different rune pages, but it'll still be like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
and it's still
I think that's
it's still like a lot of extra depth where like at a high level it'll probably feel like limitless in a way.
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree with that.
You can also add some like really fun shit.
It's
like
it's definitely very far down the line.
I mean that's a massive system to implement.
Like that's I'd be fine with that.
Because again, like
season 5,
you also have to make runes that are interesting. Like it can't be like really basic stuff, like the
aspects.
Yeah, like the passives that the runes give you and stuff like that in League, like they all seem pretty.
They're literally Smite item passives that are taken off of items and put into the runes so that you have to buy. It is really interesting, but it's really deep.
It is really interesting, and they've done a great job on that. I just don't know if like Smite needs it, but I think it would be cool to.
It'd be fun,
like
but
and
it could just be like, I mean, imagine like you pick like runes and then you buy starter and then you're buying active and then activate. Like I mean,
it could be a lot.
A little overwhelming.
You need to weigh like how many systems are good. That you want in place, like, because then like let's say if you want to add runes and like maybe you should take away something that's gonna like complicate things, like maybe at that point you should take away starters or something, because it's just like another thing at the start of the game that's taking your time and your brain power. So I think you can't like just add like every system that's really
that's
cool.
where I disagree, because I feel like that's what MOBAs should be. Like I think there should be a lot for you to think about and for you to figure out and experiment with.
I think you want a healthy amount, like as a dev, like from like not the 20k hour, like I want literally every system in the game.
25k
from my personal bias, but like if I'm thinking from like a dev's perspective on like how do you want to like appeal to like most audiences, then you should have a good balance where we're satisfied with enough systems as a 20k hour player, or someone that's starting out, or someone somewhere in the middle, where you need a good balance of things. You can't just like overload it. You do want lots of choices and things to think about, but you can't have it be like super overwhelming.
I just think Smite's not even close to it being overwhelming when you look at the other like top MOBAs.
No, I agree with that for sure.
They do have a lot of room to work with, I think, and that's where it also comes down to. Like if they do think something is super interesting, they should just commit to it and like brace for impact, because like I think whatever they add, there'll be a lot of people who will just complain until they adjust to it. I mean that's just how it is. Like changes for a lot of people, like change sucks, but I mean they don't know what's good for them in the long run, and eventually they'll enjoy the system. And I think that's where like the dev team needs to be like confident in their own ability to like pull off something that's great for the game, and kind of just ride out the storm if something is not received well instantly.
I do think that there's actually room for the aspects to be cool. I think they're just way too basic and like.
We went on in like a different conversation there. I mean, there's definitely. I think the only one that's good is Golden Blade.
And the balance isn't great.
That should be like the ground. That should be like the ground level.
I actually don't even think something like Golden Blade should be in the game. Like
I think it's pretty broken. It's just
really boring.
I mean, there are a lot of gods that literally need Golden Blade to exist. Which I mean, at that point, you could just change it to being back to an item, and then have a more interesting aspect that's more like. My idea was that you should have starter items in the game, which allow like different playstyles per role and per god. Because obviously some like the stars will change vastly your playstyle, and then you can have aspects which are more applicable to every role. Like you could have like, let's say there's 5 aspects, right? You could have one aspect that could apply to all 5 roles. So you could have the aspects be more widely ranging, and then have starters be there for your actual like role.
I agree. I actually agree. I think that's how that should be. Like
I think that's what they intended with aspects, right? For it to be like
no, they wanted to replace starters.
Nah, I don't think so. I think they wanted to be like.
They said it was going to be like combat effects that like scale into the late game, right?
Yeah,
the goal of the system was to replace starters.
I think it was like blessings, like sort of like blessings.
I'm pretty sure it was just something they added because it's just something that they were interested in, and they have no interest in adding starters. So I don't know if they like replaced it with it, but it's just something that they wanted added, and they don't want starter, or they didn't want starters back.
Well, it's in the same vein of they are role specific. They are 5
Yeah.
role specific things, which is what starters are, right? There's aspects, so there's 5 aspects, and they're all role linked, or like they're all linked to one role. So at that point, if you're solo, you're probably going to be more inclined to pick barbarian than the others. Now, some gods are going to be different where you want to pick those other aspects, but the majority of solo laners are going to go barbarian, and that was the goal, is that they want you to pick that in solo. You know, so that is already replacing starters. That is the same. That's the same base idea of starters, is having something like linked to your role.
Yeah. Also, really quick, I think one benefit of having like a pre-game thing and like runes is that it doesn't overwhelm you when you load into game. Like you can kind of select it like it's more like as time goes on. Yeah, as time goes on. So you just like you click your rune, you know, like in lobby select. Or like I think it's similar to like that in Paladins, like you choose your cards in Paladins, and like before you load in, and it like changes like the way your character functions, changes your abilities and stuff like that. I think
it
that
could be a way smoother experience if you could choose all your stuff outside of the game. Right now, when you load in, you pick like 5 cards or something, dude.
Yeah, when you load in, it'd be way too much.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Like, even
while
the
you're
relics
loading
should
in,
be like in picks and bans.
Yeah,
really
in
nice.
picks and bans. After you
That would
pick
be
your
cool.
god, you should be able to pick your relic, your aspect, and then if you want the manual build or whatever, like you should be able to choose that there as well.
Yeah, I feel like you just get into game and then you just focus on build and just playing. Like, you shouldn't have all these decisions to make in like the minute you
That would be cool.
to like.
I agree.
That'd be sick. Yeah, and then you load in your boom, just buy your item out the gate.
Level your ability and then you're good. I actually think that's a good idea to limit the pre-game shit you have to do.
Yeah,
because I'm sitting
more like shit to do in pregame, because like usually I just like pick my god and go to Twitter.
Yeah, I diddle myself while I'm trying to wait for the game to load in.
It also just means you can use the time you have like before the minions spawn to like actually, I don't know, like invade or like look for a fight or anything like that.
Or if you can even open the shop too, like if you like level your ability up, like just do everything, and maybe I'm not sure how far you can go, but they start your builds in P's and B's in Dota 2. Yeah, I think that'd be interesting.
Wait, really?
But it doesn't have to be builds, but like
I think builds is fine to have like once you access the game.
Yeah.
Probably just like the annoying stuff like aspects and.
But like I feel like there really could be no limit to like what you could add in like a lobby. You know, just like, you know, I feel like you could expand on the lobby, because the lobby's pretty boring. It also feel like it would make the lobbies feel faster too. Like even though it's not actually faster, it would feel like you're spending less time
adjusting stuff. Yeah. Nice,
Having
we got one good idea.
Let's go.
Having the stuff also at the beginning of the game with no Invader's Curse, like how it is currently, you literally sit in base for like a minute and a half and just do nothing besides think about what you're buying, and then you walk out because of Invader's Curse also.
Yeah. Also it would help new like inexperienced players. Like
Invader's Curse is gone in Smite too, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Like,
if for this thing to be added. Yes, for sure.
Invader's Curse should be gone? I don't like Invader's Curse that much.
I think Invader's Curse was like a bandage fix.
Yeah, it was.
And I don't like that.
It was like the anti-brawl healing.
Yeah, I hated that shit, bro.
Like the thing is, like, dude, by the time Invader's Curse was added, they had already fixed like the chalice and health pot stacking and stuff like that. So it kind of just like, it fixed an issue that was already like kind of going away a little bit.
It was hard to do at that point.
It just kind of made every stuff for the rest of Smite boring. Like there was no variety or like outplaying on the map or anything. Like you kind of just like who can clear their own buffs the quickest and get rewarded for it. You know, definitely wasn't very fun. And it kind of goes against kind of just goes against what a MOBA is meant to be like as well, where you're meant to figure out ways to deal with strategies, right? Like the game shouldn't force something to not be possible, like for years.
I got one. Kind of going back to like the console stuff. I have a few things about console just to see what you guys think. Do you guys think? I mean, crossplay, positive? Yeah, nay.
Positive.
Crossplay? Like, what do you mean? Like ranks?
Absolutely crossplay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you think crossplay is good or bad?
I think it's majorly needed. I think it's extremely good. I think like a game in 2024 doesn't have crossplay is like a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think about like ranked though? I feel like ranked is still good to have crossplay.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
I think it's good.
I just wish the voice system was like more like improved upon. Like, and also I think also like, not gonna lie, I feel like it would be pretty beneficial if like, since you know like Nika and I, for example, said we're gonna like try harder in Smite 2 ranked to you know try and change like the culture and stuff of like ranked and you know make it more try hard. I think if more people slam.
Hey, don't laugh. You gotta do it as well, man.
You know how many times people have come together and said that they're gonna do that, and then with
but now we have a new game.
Yeah, but we have a new game, a new league.
We have a new game. What's the excuse?
A ton of new shit.
Well, yeah, I mean now there's a reason. There's no competitive currently, and there's gonna be ranked, and it's a new game.
It's just ranked. Who cares?
And like, the rank scene is better. Also, like the rank system is gonna be better. Like
Embrace
you
the
know.
plummet era, fellas.
I mean, like, let's say before, like in Smite 1, when people like would stop caring, right? It's typically like someone who's like #1 seed and is owning like all their scrims and has no reason to try and ranked, and like they barely even try in scrims, and they're still staying #1 seed.
Wait, who are you talking about? Are you talking about someone?
Yeah, name.
That happens. That happens to like probably almost everyone in first seed that's ever been in first seed. So I mean that's guaranteed gonna happen. Where like if someone's like not gonna care in rank because they're owning everywhere else, and they obviously don't need to care in ranked. But obviously, like if you're on a bottom end team, you should be caring.
Yep.
And usually they do, but there's some salary frauds that definitely did not.
But like I think we should use comms more. Like hopefully it's improved. Hopefully they actually have it. Like
the reason why comms aren't used is because Smite has the VGS system.
And the comms are dog shit. My comms literally didn't work when I like originally got on PC. It took like a year for me to get my comms to work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
The comp's just a little scuffed because you have to adjust your default Windows settings to like use the right.
Why even use comms if the VGS system can do it better? Like sometimes, bro.
I don't know any of the VGS when I originally came over.
I just think,
and I still don't know many of them.
I think it makes the game feel more serious. If I mean, okay, I mean,
I agree. I'm just saying if you look at ranked, like Smite is one of the very few games that has a voice system that isn't used in ranked. That's because I mean VGS is just better.
I mean, people don't use it in League either, though.
I think at a high level, it is just the culture, though. Like, when's the last time any of us played like an actual serious ranked game?
I mean, why would we though?
Yeah, I mean that's a bad thing though. Like, even if you're in the SPL and stuff,
that's not our fault or our issue. That's a high-res issue.
Well, I think it's definitely partially our fault.
What's partially our fault?
That the rank queues aren't taken seriously. Like it's definitely high-res also, but it's on the players.
So what is there are you saying at what point? Right now or before?
No, at any point. There's
okay. Well, right now there's literally no reason.
Not this year. This year is literally.
Okay. Well, okay, fine. At old points, there was the players.
Previously, it would be you're talking about good players that are at the top of the ranked scene because they're the best players and they don't care because they're already winning an SPL.
Yeah, so it's on the player.
So why would they? But why would they care? They're already winning. Why would they care? How's that on them?
To want to improve more. They're like there's literally no
top and you're better than everyone else. It's almost impossible to not have an ego, and you are better than everyone else. So why would you try and ranked if you're already trying in scrims?
Yeah, but that's the player thing. You're saying like
the bigger issue is the good players which shit on players who try hard and like try and get better. We're all
I do that. I am.
We will do that.
You need a. So the reason if the players aren't trying, then there isn't competition. Like that's not a player issue. If the player would be trying in rank that they felt that they were threatened or they need to try.
No,
or they need to improve. So
I disagree completely.
Trying, okay, how?
I'll use because it's something I know. I'll use League of Legends ranked in NA and Korea to give this example. The NA players are not at the top of the game at even close, and their queue is not taken serious at all because the players don't care. The players in Korea are literally at the top of the game, and they care so much that the games are just serious. It's a first and foremost.
They're incentivized to do it.
That is true, but I think like.
But the NA players are also incentivized to be good.
But in Korea though, like. It's not just one team is good in Korea. All the players, all the teams are very good in Korea. So they have to keep trying harder to stay up on the top. Like if Faker's at the top, he won Worlds, right? He's probably not the best player in the game right now.
Yeah, but go back to NA. Why aren't NA players taking it seriously when they're not at the top and they have to get better?
I don't know why you can't really like compare League to Smite like this. Like there's infinite different amount of incentives.
Right?
If you
Bobby.
if you're insane, if you're insane in league, then you're obviously going to get paid a fuck ton of money, right? Like if let's say if you want to translate this to Smite comparison, that's like if I keep trying and getting better, I'm going to get paid more the better I get, right? But I don't. I get paid the same salary, so there's no incentive structure for it.
Yeah, but the NA players have that incentive. If they get better, they will get paid.
We're not the league NA players though, so it's not our issue. And
but it's the same exact scenario.
I think the culture is different between.
They have incentives, we don't.
I think the whole culture is different between America and like Asia, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's a player thing.
Yeah, so I kind of see what Bobby's saying.
It's a player thing then.
But that's not.
I mean, both of you are correct though. That's the thing.
But yeah, with Smite,
it should be comparable though. Like what, like. You still get rewarded for splits. You still get rewarded for winning like these tournaments.
I agree with Haddix on Smite, but I think I agree with Bobby with League. I think they're two different games. Like I think.
But how? The incentive is the better you are in the game, the more you'll get paid. The better you are.
You're getting paid the most because you're already winning.
But so for NA, in NA League, if you play as hard as you can to get better, to get paid more, that's like your incentive. You're not at the top, or you're sorry, you're hold on, let me recenter myself. I think I get what you're saying now, but in NA League, the incentive is, hold on, I think I'm confusing myself.
No, I understand what you mean. I'm just saying that it's different when it comes to Smite and League, because let's say if you're NA in League, they do have the incentives over there and they don't care. So yeah, there is a cultural issue where they just don't care as much as Asian countries, right? And their culture is different, and they do care more, and they breed a lot more competition, and it's a lot more serious over there, right? I do agree with that, but I'm saying that in Smite we've never had that incentive structure, right? Because we've been salaried for years, where if you're winning, let's say you're first seed and you won the last Masters tournament, right? You're already getting rewarded the maximum possible. So why, if you're not feeling threatened, you're winning everything, you feel like you're better than everyone else, and you've proven that you're better than everyone else currently, why would you keep trying, and why not just
there was years where there was incentive and it was still the same. Even with the salary system, there was salary systems where you'd still have to negotiate with orgs for a higher salary the year after, and I mean the players who didn't take the game seriously and underperformed, obviously not all the time, but most of the time would be stuck with minimum. So even when there was an incentive to grind and get better, it was still ranked was still a bit of a joke, and obviously some of it's on high-res as well.
I don't want to make it seem like it's only players.
At that point too, if it's let's say it's also a very small amount of players, let's say the few top teams that are acting like that, then if it's only the top teams that are acting like that where they don't care, that wouldn't be enough players to actually make a change in the actual scene caring. And then if, you said, the whole
I think it would. I think if literally all of us who stream had a different, I mean literally all of us, including anyone that streamed SPL recently, very few of us genuinely took the game seriously, majority of the time, and we would always complain when lesser players actually tried and would pick the meta shit, because it was just annoying because we wouldn't try as hard.
Because we'd have to deal with it in ranked. I mean, in scrims.
The issue is, it's I mean, if we're playing a ranked game mode, we should be trying harder, because it shouldn't matter if there's money on the line and stuff like that. We are literally just playing ranked. It's meant to be competitive, and it's meant to be rewarding to compete in the ranked leaderboard, but that just isn't in Smite, which is
the thing is that
issue.
You have to say at what stage and what year you're talking about, because that also desperate that changes people's mentality a lot. Because right now there's no reward
this year.
Right?
There's literally no reward at all.
The year before that changes, and then when you had orgs, that also changes too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying for the future.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the future, there's a good way to go about it in the future. But let's say, there has to be incentives. And if there are incentives and people still aren't doing it, well then at that point they should fail for doing that, right?
100%.
If there's incentives and someone's not taking it seriously, well then someone should be beating them and taking those incentives, right? That's how it should work. And if they're not, well then they're getting rewarded for their behavior. So at that point it's not really the player issue, it's the fact that there's not enough good players to take over them. or the incentive structure is not enough to where the player cares. So
I agree 100%.
I really don't think it's ever the player's issue, to be honest. Like, I think it's always the incentive in place, or it's going to be not enough players to take them over. Like, because if you're bad or you're not doing it, then someone should take your spot. But they're not.
Yeah.
And also,
No,
you're talking about like these like pros in Smite have been pros in Smite for like, I mean, I don't know how long you've been pro, or like, you know, if I can Barry
Like,
Kuda and Steven played for 10 years.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like even I've been pro for like 7.
Yeah, like it's like you are bound to lose passion at some point. Like you're not 18 anymore. You're you know, like you're worried more about going on vacations and spending time with your family and touching grass and building a family. Like, you know, like there's more important things in life that you move on to compared to like when you started the game as a kid. So like it's bound you're gonna lose some passion for it, and if you start losing passion for it, then people should beat you. But if they're not, well then I mean the boomers winning. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I mean I'd still even say the boomers are still better than like the other, like it's like a competition problem. Like there's like literally like, I mean like if me and Pagon, right, if we like we're probably the biggest inters, right? Because like we just stream and we just like run it down, and we're probably like the number one like core of like the whole like, you know, like lazy, like, you know, not trying in ranks thing. And like we're still able to like we're still able to be on to like, you know, be like the number one team for like most of the year, like the top 3 at least. And you know, like still like even Zapman too, like Zapman into ranks for a long time, and now he's capped. And like I still would take Zapman and AC over like other ADC players personally, because I think Zap is still good, and he's still, you know, like obviously
he's still scrimming. He's still scrimming every day, right? So like the thing is, like these players are scrimming every day. They've already done their serious practice.
Yeah.
You know, like ranked on top of it is, I mean, mainly a lot of people that are queuing ranked, that are pros, are doing it for a secondary income, because the actual income from pro play is not enough. You know, like it's like a livable wage, but you could stream and make a lot more money.
Yeah.
So when you're streaming and you're doing things for content, you're not doing it out of trying to get better at the game. You're doing it for content or to like stream. So there's different incentives there at that point too. And then there's also the talk about like, you know, ranked rewards. Like, you know, if you hit rank 1 GM, well then everyone's rank 1. Like there's been multiple times where there's literally 50 people that are rank 1. You know, so
even
like
more actually, yeah.
There needs to be like gem rewards for being top 10, top 3, whatever. There needs to be different rewards, and you can't all be rank 1. And then there's the talk of streamers. They've already scrimmed. Like it's not like as simple as like these people don't care. Like it's like a, you know.
I mean, I wasn't trying to make it seem like it is all like it's all the players, because it is majority high res. But if the 7, because you kept bringing up like the number 1 team, they have nothing to play for. Those 7 other teams though have something to play for. They have to play for to get better, but they are treating it like it's nothing else.
What about the bottom end players that know that they're not going to get better? They're bad, and they're leeching off a system that's they're literally salary frauds. Like there's been many players that are on the bottom. They know they're not going to get better, and they're just sitting there as long as they can. Right. So they're. I mean,
there's still other players in that to still take the game system to take the game seriously.
Okay, but I'm saying that like it's just never going to be that simple. Because I mean, like you're saying, like the other 7 teams, but there are players that are actively not going to try because they know they're not good enough, and they're just going to leech the system.
Yeah, I mean, and I get what you're saying, but there's still like more players even beyond that. There's like SEC players that are trying to get better. Like there is going to be a few players that are just not going to take the game seriously, but they should generally find themselves down in lower MMR. But it's the entire top 100 players don't take the game seriously. If those 85, 90 players, or 80 players, however much you want to say, that are good enough to get better, that do take the game seriously, if they were trying a little bit harder, they would be moving up, and then they would be improving.
I mean, it's just, I think that this is just like, let's say if you had all these Smite players in like I'm just saying it's a very big combining of factors, right? It's like they've already scrimmed, and then you could also say they don't take scrim serious enough. Well, why don't people take scrim serious enough? Maybe they're leeching the system. They don't. We've talked
about this, and I agree with this.
They're good enough and they have big egos.
I also just think ranked is a choice, right?
Like, they don't see Smite having a future. Like there's just a lot of factors that add into this situation. Like let's say if you had someone playing League, like I mean, you have a long ladder to climb, right? And then that League has a long-lasting future, and there's like, people could just be frustrated with high res or frustrated with Smite in general. Maybe there's bad changes.
I agree with
happening.
this. Yep.
So there's just a lot of combining factors that would lead to somebody
100%.
not caring.
I do not disagree with that whatsoever. When we talked about this before, it's like
And
the
there
level
could be player issues as well. That's not out of the factor. It's just that I think the majority of the issue will be outside factors, not the player.
Agreed. And we were saying like it's kind of like it goes in a circle where if like competitive is not taken seriously, ranked isn't taken seriously, competitive isn't taken seriously because everybody gets paid the same, so the only incentive is to win. And like you said, there is players that are just there to pick up the salary and do whatever else that they want to be doing. So there is like a combination of things, and I do agree that a lot of it does come down to the system Hi-Rez has in place with ranked and the system Hi-Rez has in place for competitive, where if those were switched up, there's definitely going to be a reinvigoration to the rank system.
Yeah, there has to be a bright future. There has to be things being handled well. There has to be good incentives in place, and people will be trying. And obviously, like what Nika said too, like you can also have people be passionate. Like you can have the streamers be passionate and care about ranked, but there kind of has to be a reason for them to do that as well.
I think the big thing is not putting other passionate players down. It's tough not to though. Like
they're just so dog shit. Am I right?
Currently, it's impossible not to.
Oh, right now it's embarrassing, bro.
Previously, before, if it was like the last year,
in my queues, like.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty impossible. I mean, I get it because I mean they're playing the game because they want to win, but obviously it's going to be annoying. Either way, though, yeah, you can't really put down passion. You can't even put down passion right now because I mean
we shouldn't honestly, but
that's the reason why they play it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like if it was passion in Smite 2, I could see it, but right now there's like literally nothing. But I can also see like people trying hard to improve their skills in Smite 1, so it translates.
We've already all been pro, like this is nothing for us, but for others they're still trying to get better at the game, and even if there's nothing to get better for in Smite 1, they're preparing for 2 in a way, right? Because I mean there will be crossover.
It's just a day at the office for us.
You could definitely say that putting people's passion down currently, even now, is a negative thing, but I think that this is the peak of putting down people's passion.
No, yeah, you should be.
This is the highest it'll ever get. Yeah.
This is the peak of it, and I mean, I think that there's some understanding that can happen on both sides here, and it's not like one side's the devil.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I just think there's a lot in the future that like obviously Hi-Rez has to change, but also the players, and hopefully it all goes well. But like you said, it's not the first time people have attempted to like be super serious and ranked, or like even do like in-houses and shit. And it just never works because, like, I mean, as a game, we've just never had enough players to keep those serious systems going.
There's always been a lack of like very top-ended players too in Smite. I mean, clearly shown by like there's some people that could have been cut, and there's been like SEC players that have been on the grind up. Like it's just there's been a general lack of like very good players. Which I mean, there's nothing that any of us really can do about that, to be honest.
True.
It's just a player amount of issue.
Can't wait to take Smite 2 ranked seriously for like 2 weeks and then go back.
Then have that guy locked in Fenrir for the 13th game in a row and just start yelling at him.
Man, he's level 2 ganked me again. Like,
fucking demise react. You got any other questions, Nika?
So wait, do you think maybe like?
No, I got all of them.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Maybe like the amount of viewers has like an effect on like how hard you try like to get better, like.
No.
No.
I think that is probably the lowest amount.
Okay,
I do think that
if there's like millions of people watching you play in a tournament, like you probably want to embarrass yourself, or you want to like look.
At a tournament, you should try
have an effect.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about streaming ranked.
I mean ranked. I just mean like ranked. But
do you mean?
I think
it's a bad question. It's a bad question.
I think more people would watch if every game was super serious and like there was actually like a ranked I don't know, like actual grind or like race to first or like ranked rivalries and stuff like that. I mean, it's like really not a Smite thing. It never has been.
Very true.
The rank system just needs to be better.
Yeah, that all comes down to the actual system. Because if the race to ranked takes like 2 days and then you can't get demoted out of Masters, then what is there to watch? Every game you're gonna watch is gonna be the same like bullshit low quality game.
Yeah.
But if as a viewer you know that at 7 p.m. all the players hop on and it's like a fucking super queue, like you're just gonna be more inclined to want to watch it because it's just you're gonna be watching good Smite from good players like wherever you go.
Yeah.
And that comes from the system, and it comes from the players like embracing that system and wanting to take it seriously. Like it's just a lot of overlap, and like everyone has to be on the same page, and yeah, it'll work out. It's the same with in-house. It's kind of like we'd always have like 1 or 2 days a season, right? Like at the start, where the in-houses would be hype, and honestly, like everyone's viewership would be better, and then it would just hit a point where no one could be fucked to organize them, or there wouldn't be enough of the same role, or like someone would invite like people who are just
noobs.
super shitters, and it would ruin the in-houses.
Super shitters. Lucas, thank you for the sub. I appreciate
It
that.
needs to just be rude and say you're not good enough to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like wake up call.
I mean, that's also like not really like how many jobs can a player really have? Like, do you want someone doing YouTube, doing scrims, doing Twitch streaming, and then having to worry about their competitive on the weekend, and then actually setting up tournaments, and then having to take care of their fucking dog and cat, and then call their mom and their dad, and then fuck. Yeah,
it's especially like you said, the older you get, like I mean, it's not like any of us are like fucking old, but like as soon as you start hitting your like mid-20s, like you just have so many other responsibilities as well.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to pick and choose what you focus on.
Usually you have people that have like tournament organizers, like, you know, there's people that are like passionate outside of it that people, that do it that aren't players. Like the players shouldn't be the main ones driving that those in-houses getting set up. It should be someone else.
Like the players should like promote it if they're taking part, and then someone else should be running it.
Yeah. So you can't really just expect the players to do literally everything.
Oh, of course, yeah. I think it's like at least like 80% on non-player factors. Hey, what do you guys think about like the requirement to queue ranked, like with the
Oh, that shit isn't pot. They need to lower that shit, bro. Holy fuck.
with how many masters you need? Like first you need the level grind and then the mastery grind.
Why is it? Is that to defeat Smurfs? Because I remember when Mendo was trying to play, Mendo wanted to play ranked, and he literally like you have to grind the game so hard just to be able to play ranked. And
I remember
they would enjoy they would enjoy playing ranked, but they can't do it because it's so hard to like do all the lame shit to play ranked. I played Marvel Rivals for like fucking 2 minutes and I get to play ranked.
Yeah, that shit was lit. Yeah.
Like that's ideal. Like I mean I don't know why it's so abrasive to get people.
The thing is like if someone isn't ready for rank, they'll just be low rank and they'll climb out. Like that's better than just telling them you have to spend 100 hours before you can even queue ranked.
And imagine being like a new player and you're like, holy fuck, I need to do so much shit to get into ranked.
I mean, some people will never experience ranked.
Like Summit was like, holy fuck.
Summit played a week of Smite, didn't even make it halfway, and then he had his account boosted up so he could start playing ranked. Like imagine playing a week of a game, like 10 to 12 hours a day, because he literally streamed it all, and not even being halfway. That would
I'd quit, bro.
That'd be my 13th reason.
The rank should be very low.
Yeah, I agree.
Should be like play the tutorial.
It should take you like 10 hours maybe, and like then you just get, if you want to queue ranked, you queue ranked. If you're a bronze player and you lose every game, that's just what it is, and then you'll just get better. Like you'll just learn in ranked, and it's just gonna be better anyway because you get to learn against better players than you.
Yeah, some of my chat is like new to Smite. They've been following me for like 2 months and they still can't play ranked.
That's fucking insane, dude.
It's a lot of hours. Like, dude, especially like there's probably been people who only do the level cap, and then they're like, what the hell? I still can't queue, and then they realize they have to play all these other gods.
Got a master gods.
Yeah, getting to level 30 also takes so long.
Yeah,
it's so like, long. It's so long.
Unless there's like double worshipper weekends, it's probably like 60 hours of game time, probably.
I actually think
the new player experience to Smite is definitely pretty rough.
I think a pretty easy way to do it is just do like, you need to win 10 normal Conquest games. Once you win 10 games, hey, ranked is yours.
I actually like that.
Somebody said that's what Overwatch is. Overwatch is you have to win 50 quick play games.
If you play every role twice or something.
Yeah, 50 is a lot in Smite for sure.
But those are quick play games. Yeah, those Overwatch games last like 10 minutes or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
Rivals is like
started
level
1
5.
month ago. League play here. He's masters. The game is fun, the concept and everything, but Hyros could really do some effort about reviving the game. Not only make skins when everything falls apart. Thank you, League player. He's not wrong though.
Incredible insight.
Really not.
The spin.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marvel
been
Rivals
yapping
was
for a
a pretty good experience for me at least. I mean, I played like fucking.
Yeah, I
I
actually
played like
really
I
enjoyed
played
it.
like an hour or two, and then boom, I could play ranked.
Yeah. Like not
Like,
even.
I think,
Yeah, it was
I
actually
think
like.
I think the barrier to entry should not be that. I mean, obviously it's different genres and they require different skill sets going into it, but like still, the barrier to entry to ranked is crazy.
Yeah, gotta lower that shit by like 80%.
And like hitting level 30 is also crazy. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Because like I think after like 31, like 30 to 31 is way faster than like 29 to 30, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
I
sure it
think
like resets or
I
something.
Wonder, I wonder if it scales like that because that used to be
Used to
the
be
max
30.
rank.
Yeah.
So maybe they never changed it to like actually scale like.
Yeah,
normal.
I don't think they
know.
ever adjusted it.
Yeah.
But either way, they should definitely not make it that hard.
Yep.
All right, 4 hours of yapping done, boys. Anything else?
I love this.
Yeah.
I didn't have to play 4 hours of EU rank. That is fucking
Let's go.
huge.
Somebody was saying that we should do another something like this after the 24/7 drops. Just talk about like initial
Yeah.
Yeah,
down.
I'd be down.
down for sure.
Smite 2 stuff. All right.
There'll be plenty of yapping, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, let's hope it's good yapping,
maybe
it's
it's good
not,
yapping.
not Doomer yapping.
We love this yapping.
No, for the next one, we need to get
Poker.
people who are still dooming and like have like a debate, fucking presidential
Yeah,
debate.
true. Yeah, like
Get some doomers,
yeah,
get some-
Doom versus
a
Code.
monitor.
Yeah,
Wait, who's the biggest doomer? Who's the biggest doomer and the biggest like coper?
Incon is definitely. I don't
Incon.
know. Is Incon
No,
really?
he's-
No, he's actually a massive coper now, isn't he?
No, he loves Smite 2. He hates Smite 1.
Yeah, he's
not
really
even a
excited for
doomer.
Smite 2.
So
He's
we
a
need him
coper.
on the
He's a
coper
gloomer,
side.
bro. He's literally a Smite 2 gloomer.
Maybe Benny.
Oh yeah, Benny maybe.
Benny literally made a curve.
Fanuke likes Fanuke's the coper, but Fanuke's like a realistic coper.
No, yeah. After the last test, he said he was leaning Doom.
Yeah. I think most people were.
He's a centrist.
Hence Ryder.
It's right. What was that emo in your chat? Was it fuck the cope curve? Renamed it to what was it?
The saw curve.
Delusional curve.
Delusional.
curve.
Dude, who actually is a full-on Doomer?
Ducky
know any
says he
anymore.
is not excited for the game.
Oh.
And he's British, so.
Oh shit. Benny
I mean,
curve.
Slay is a bit of a Doomer, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
Scream.
the whole dooming thing got blown super out of proportion because there was actually like reasonable things to be concerned about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reasonable dooming. I mean, the biggest dooming that happened was when before the 9.5 change, and then they heard all the dooming, and then they made the 9.5 change, and then people were no longer dooming. They said Smite 1 feels fun, and they stopped dooming. And then the only dooming that happened after that was reasonable concerns about Smite 2.
Yeah.
Like, I think it just got super
I
blown out of
agree.
proportion, and now you have people farming it like Flare Boot,
Yeah.
saying that there's
Oh,
like
dude,
he's like
don't get me
literally-
started. Don't get me
he's-
started. Holy
he
fuck.
forgot. It's like he forgot to take his schizophrenic medication, and he's
Okay.
fighting against like imaginary doomers that aren't real.
Bro's on the front lines.
Yeah.
There's
Casper.
there's people
in the air, bro.
The people that are talking about Smite 2 are having reasonable concerns because their livelihoods are on the line, or they care about the game and they want to play a fun game. Like the people that are dooming are the people that care about it, and the dooming is reasonable concerns.
It's not
for,
even
like,
dooming.
almost the overwhelming majority. It's just
just
Yeah,
expressing
it's not like
changes.
people are saying like, "Oh, the game's dead on arrival. It's not even worth trying." Like people are
Give
just
me
saying,
that.
like
Dooming
stuff
is
they-
just being negative
yeah.
for no reason. These are reasonable concerns for like almost
Yeah.
the majority of them. And
What
if
is that?
not, I mean, then that's a
even
communication
follow.
issue. Like people wouldn't have a reason to be concerned if there's not poor communication on Hyros' part. You know, they could say,
Yep.
"Here's our roadmap. Here's what we're working on to make us feel better." You
Yep.
know, that's
For sure.
none of this is like the player's issue, and the dooming is just literally like imaginary, bro.
Yeah. But I will say on Hyros' part though, like it is kind of hard to have like a specific like roadmap. I do see what you're saying. I do
I'm saying that
agree.
there could be better communication to have
could
less
be, there could
concerns,
be.
or they
Yeah.
could just make better changes and do
But,
things better.
I mean,
so there's
I
not
think-
big concerns.
I think overall they've communicated more and like been more like direct with everyone than more than like any other game studio. Like like this early and into the.
Well,
I kind of think it's because they need to.
They've gotten better with it too.
They do need to, yeah. But I do agree with Haddock, so they definitely could. I 100% agree. But I also think that like some people were hardcore zooming at the start, like before it was announced, which is fair. I mean, that was like reasonable concern. I agree. And people were also being like unrealistic zooming on the first ever test. Like
I liked the first test. That first test, I was like, fuck, there's a chance.
I had fun too. Yeah, I actually
the only time I actually
it's just bound to happen though.
This is new, right?
I think most people bought the pass to play that. They played it and then they said, "This is way too early. I'll be back in like 20 years when it's ready."
Yeah, but there were some people who were just like, "Yeah, this is like the worst I've ever played. Like, it's over. Like hardcore dooming, not even like."
That's also guaranteed going to happen if you.
Like people don't test games like this in public.
Let's say you're in high-res's position. They know that they're showing an underbaked, very early product, and they know that there's going to be very negative criticism about that because
they're selling it.
You're making people pay for a game that's not finished that you're expecting to playtest and tell you how to fix it. Like you're guaranteed going to get negative feedback and get lashed at. Like, so,
I mean, sure. I definitely agree.
That's not the consumer's issue.
It's inevitable.
That's their issue that they've done that, but they're willingly take that on. So I don't know why people are defending it.
Yeah, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying. I think right now,
other people are doing that. Like,
that's fair.
Like Flavor, for example.
Yeah, true.
Why are people criticizing a product that is being released early? That is the whole intention is to get criticized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, even on the opposite end, there's not many people that are like super glazing and fighting the imaginary war. There's like 2 people.
Yeah.
So it's also not that big of an issue.
Oh man, it is just really funny. Like,
it's just
some of the stuff I see on my timeline.
Yeah. But, I think people are going to be pretty. Hopefully people are going to be pretty excited for this next update. I mean, I think
as much as we meme the Stuka, it kind of is true, and it has been true.
It is true
for literally the last decade of Smite. Like,
it is true.
It's just how it works. Like, everyone in gaming, not just Smite, is really reactionary.
Yeah.
And obviously, with how they did this test, it was always going to be a negative reaction because it's not ready.
Yeah.
People refuse to accept that. They just want like a finished game that they paid for. But I mean, it's going to get better very rapidly, and then things will be better in a couple weeks, and then I'm sure someone will find something new to doom about, and then a couple months down the line, something else will bring everyone back to happiness. I mean, this is gonna be back and forth.
Because if there's dooming, it's pretty easy to shut down dooming if there's a response.
No.
Right? If let's say they're saying whatever argument, if there's actually something to say against it, like, oh, that's not true, well then it's not dooming. I mean, at that point it is dooming. But if somebody is dooming and there's no answer to it, well then at that point they're just concerned and there's not really something to say about it.
My only concern is if the game's going to be like ready for the 24/7, and it's not even like dooming. Like, there's no way the game's going to be ready. It's just, is the game going to be ready?
Yeah.
That's the differentiation I'm trying to make, because dooming is getting like at this point dooming is like so overused in Smite. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's meta. It's meta.
Everyone says doom. It's doom. Yeah, I mean, like,
I say my ranked games are doomed every game. Like, it's just funny.
Well, there's reasonable concern, and then there's dooming. And dooming is not valid, but reasonable concern is.
Yep.
Unless you get auto speed on the enemy team, then there's a reason to doom.
Oh god.
Yep, that's true.
Are people trying to tell me to queue NA in the morning?
No,
and
don't do it.
Told them to open auto speed stream and tell me if I should queue that.
I deadass have his stream up on the side just to know if I can hit the queue or not. I'm not trolling. I am 100% deadass. I have it up just to make sure I don't hit it.
Bro,
nothing ruins my mental faster than that.
Game. Like, actually,
I'm about to start hitting the EU queues.
And play against split push.
Bro, Dashboard hit his game 4 games in a row. I've never seen him end stream so quick. That dude got backdoored by Akali, a Chronos, and then I think Akali again, and he's like, I'm done. I can't do it. And then he tweeted about Boombas.
Gamma and Blugin would do it and literally killed NA ranked for like a week until they got bullied into stopping it.
Yep, I mean, the only thing you can do is bully them, but auto speed is a bully soak. like I can get bullied by 1,000 people, he will not stop.
I actually think bullies power him up. He's hit more Qs in the past like 3 days since he started backdooring.
You think he's loving it? He can't.
He does.
He can't stop.
I don't know what it is.
He's got an insatiable hunger for backdooring. I mean, at that point, dude, you know it's not gonna happen in Smite 2. That's all I'm saying. Hey, no Bumbasphere, no TP.
We're saved.
Just wait. One of their last second changes: Boomba's Spear and Smite 2. Smite's back.
Ancient Fury exploit to get it in 5 minutes.